Chapter 1135. The white crane stared at Lin Yen before glancing at the white-veiled woman. Initially, Bai He had planned to use violence to save Lin Yen. However, he was at a loss for what to do now. The conversation between Lin Yen and the woman baffled Bai He. He had no idea what to do next or what to do. Father, the Jin, Lin Yen was at a loss for words. She had no idea how to respond to the woman. Even if this was just a casual act, she should at least have a general direction. What was going on now? Let's not talk about this for now. Lin Yen had no choice but to bite the bullet. Okay. The woman nodded. Then, the place fell into silence. Lin Yen didn't know what else to say. The woman stood aside and stared at Lin Yen, waiting for her instructions. Bai He had no idea what to do. Oh, I got it. Suddenly, Bai He glanced at Lin Yen with a look of realization on his face. What do you know? Asked Lin Yen. Do you remember what I told you? There are two similar auras. Bai He shot Lin Yen a look. Lin Yen nodded in response. Lin Yen understood what Bai He was implying. The white crane had already mentioned that Go Z had two auras and they were almost indistinguishable. One of them was this girl. However, she had already known about this. Why would Bai He mention it again? How is the father you mentioned just now? Bai He looked at the woman. Father? A hint of suspicion appeared in the white-veiled woman's eyes when she heard Bai He's words. Hadn't Master taken her father away? Why was he asking her this question now? Lin Yen finally understood what Bai He had said. Did Bai He think that Doggy was this woman's father? A child was a child. He was overthinking things. Doggy might not be able to find a girlfriend, but the age didn't match either. How could Doggy have gotten such an old daughter? Besides, even if they were biological father and daughter, their auras would only be similar. How could they be the same? Unless they were clones, before Lin Yen could speak. The white-veiled woman's cell phone rang. She was startled when she saw the caller ID. Even Lin Yen was startled by the woman's sudden appearance. Caller ID's message, Master. The white-veiled lady glanced at Lin Yen before answering the call. Lin Yan's heart was in her throat. Could she have been exposed? Catch them. A cold, emotionless female voice came from the phone. Even if the speaker was not turned on, the voice coming from the phone could be heard clearly. Master, I understand, the white-veiled woman said softly. With that, the call was hung up. Senior sister, I think we've been exposed, right? The white crane gazed at Lin Yen with its big, watery eyes. Lin Yen glanced at the white crane and remarked expressionlessly, You're really smart. Was there a need to seek confirmation from her? Wasn't it obvious that he had been exposed? There were surveillance cameras everywhere in the laboratory. They would have been exposed the moment they entered. The phone call just now must have been from the owner of the laboratory. In other words, he had really clashed with the owner of this laboratory. If she hadn't considered safety, she would have really wanted to meet the owner of the laboratory. She wanted to know how similar they were. End of chapter. Chapter 1136. The white crane stared at Lin Yen in confusion. Senior sister, what should we do now? We haven't found them yet. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to the white-veiled woman. Actually, it wasn't a bad thing to be exposed. Lin Yen would be under a lot of pressure if she continued to pretend. Besides, she wouldn't be able to obtain much information. However, now that she had been exposed, there was no need to hold back. How dare you? The white-veiled woman glanced at the white crane and Lin Yen. She was no longer respectful. Instead, her eyes were cold and distant. It seems that your master's appearance is indeed very similar to mine. Lin Yen glanced at the white-veiled woman expressionlessly. It doesn't matter that you've seen through me. I might not be able to continue pretending anyway. Before the white-veiled woman could respond, Lin Yan added, hand over my friend. Who is your friend? Asked the white-veiled woman. Stop pretending. Someone who has a similar aura to you, quipped the white crane. After hearing Bai He's words, the white-veiled woman pondered for a moment before her lips curled up slightly. I understand, I don't care if you understand or not. Be sensible and hand over my senior sister's friend. I promise you that as long as you hand her over, we will not cross paths, quipped the white crane. Lin Yan shot a glance at the white crane. This kid was really naive. Hadn't he heard the owner of the laboratory asking the white-veiled woman to capture them? How could he hand them over? The white-veiled woman didn't seem to take the white crane seriously. She glanced at Lin Yan and said coldly, do you want to surrender or, bang? Before the white-veiled woman could finish her sentence, she heard a soft thud. Unbeknownst to him, Bai He had already arrived in front of the white-veiled woman. With lightning speed, he chopped at the back of the white-veiled woman's neck. Under Lin Yan's astonished gaze, the white-veiled woman collapsed to the ground after being struck by the white crane. Lin Yan was speechless. Wasn't this too cruel? She was just a kid. You're full of nonsense. Bai He looked at the white-veiled woman with disdain and said, I told you to talk, but you didn't. You're talking to yourself like a clown. Take her down first and we'll interrogate her later. The white crane glanced at Lin Yan. Senior sister, did I do the right thing? Lin Yan was speechless. This kid was too violent. If she said no, would he hit her as well? You did great. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched as she gave the white crane a thumbs up. Hearing this, Bai He blushed slightly. Senior sister, you used to praise me like this too. Lin Yan's heart was filled with doubts. The white-veiled woman mistook him for someone else. From this, it could be seen that the owner of this laboratory looked very similar to her. Is it possible that this woman in the lab is Bai He's real senior sister? If that was the case, would the white crane beat him to death when it knew the truth? Lin Yan wouldn't tell the white crane what she was thinking. No matter what, she had to get to the bottom of this. The white-veiled woman was her only clue. Lin Yan had even begun to suspect that the owner of this laboratory was the one who owed Bai money. Just because they looked alike, she had been the scapegoat for the owner of this laboratory. End of this chapter. Chapter 1137. Senior sister, are we leaving? The white crane glanced at the woman lying on the ground before it turned to Lin Yan. Lin Yan replied softly, are we waiting for the owner of the laboratory to treat us to supper? Why should we let someone treat us to supper? Can't we eat ourselves? Besides, I'm not hungry, quipped the white crane. Lin Yan was speechless. This kid was cute, good-looking, and had evolved to a high level. However, its only flaw was that it couldn't understand human language. White crane, carry her. Let's leave this place first, Lin Yan whispered to the white crane. To Lin Yan's surprise, the white crane rejected her without hesitation. I don't want to. The white crane glanced at Lin Yan. Master said that men and women shouldn't touch each other. I'm a man. How can I hug a girl I don't know? Lin Yan was speechless. This master was really good at educating people. My master said that I can only hug a girl I like. The white crane continued. Lin Yan nodded. Yeah, you. Master is right. So. The white crane gazed at Lin Yan with its big, watery eyes. Senior sister, carry her. All right, leave it to me. Lin Yan nodded. I'll carry you. The white crane quipped. Huh. Lin Yan stood rooted to the ground, dumbfounded. What was this kid talking about? Senior sister, you can hug her and I'll hug you. Isn't that fine? The white crane quipped solemnly. Lin Yen grinned and reached out to the white crane. There's no need. Why? The white crane was a little confused and aggrieved at the same time. Because I think you're insulting my intelligence, replied Lin Yen. Lin Yen strode over to the white-veiled woman before the white crane could finish its sentence. Senior sister, can you carry her? The white crane asked softly. Lin Yen hoisted the woman over her shoulder and turned to the white crane. What are you waiting for? We shouldn't stay here any longer. Let's go. Okay. The white crane nodded vigorously. Lin Yen ran out of the lab with the white crane and the white-veiled woman on her shoulder. No one knew what level of evolution the master of the laboratory was at. If Bai He couldn't beat him, she and Bai He would have to die here. Of course, the one who was most likely to die here was herself. After all, the owner of the laboratory looked similar to her. She might even be Bai He's senior sister. Initially, Lin Yen had wanted to bring the woman to Wang Jingyang's place and let the white crane take care of her. However, the white crane had objected. Senior sister, it is improper for a man and a woman to be alone in a room. My master taught me that this is absolutely not allowed. Bai He hurriedly said. Since the white crane was unwilling, Lin Yen couldn't force it. If you're unwilling, forget it. Master has taught you well. Senior sister, I want to sleep with you tonight. The white crane gazed at Lin Yen with an aggrieved expression. Lin Yen grinned. There's no need. She took back what she had said. What kind of master was this? What kind of disciple was this? A second ago, he had righteously said that a man and a woman couldn't be alone in a room. A second later, he had shamelessly insisted on sleeping with her. As the saying went, if the upper beam was crooked, the lower beam would be crooked. However, if the white crane wasn't willing to look after her, she would have to stay with Bai. Sorry for making you wait for so long. Something happened at home, so I rushed back. Hurry up and update your story. Please forgive your bald old baby. End of this chapter. Chapter 1138. Bai He, do you really not want to look at her? In the dark, Lin Yen carried the white-veiled woman and hid in the dark with Bai He. Bai He glanced at the woman on Lin Yen's shoulder and shook his head firmly. No, I don't want to. I want to sleep with senior sister tonight. Who wants to look after her? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Bai He didn't want to look at her. Other than letting her stay with Bai, there was no other way for her to stay. Helpless, Lin Yen whipped out her phone and called Xiaoyao. After a few beeps, the call was picked up. Speak. Xiaoyao's voice was calm. Lin Yen grinned. Boss, I'm sorry to disturb you so late at night. Since you're sorry, look for me tomorrow. Before Lin Yen could speak, the line was already hung up. Lin Yen was speechless, she had just been polite. Wasn't Xiaoyao being too honest? Lin Yen thickened her skin and dialed Xiaoyao's number again. It seems like you're not embarrassed. Xiaoyao's voice was heard again. Boss, it's an emergency. It's a matter of life and death. I can't do anything about it. Other than you, no one else can help me. Lin Yen smiled awkwardly. Who beat you up again? Xiaoyao's voice was calm. I didn't get beaten up, Lin Yen replied. I hit someone. You hit someone. You should look for a doctor, not me, said Xiaoyao. Lin Yen was speechless. The main thing is that I knocked her out. This person knows my friend's whereabouts and knows what happened to my friend. However, I knocked her out, so I can't ask her. So I thought of leaving her with you and Bai. When she wakes up, I can ask her about my friend's whereabouts, explained Lin Yen. Oh, replied Xiao Yao. Lin Yan was speechless. What did he mean? Boss, is it convenient for me to throw another person into your mansion? Asked Lin Yan softly. Whatever. I'll go then. I'll be there soon. Lin Yan hurriedly hung up, afraid that Xiao Yao would go back on his word. After Lin Yan hung up, he stared at Lin Yan with widened eyes. Senior sister, who was the man you called? My friend, explained Lin Yan. Friends? He glanced at Lin Yan and pursed his lips. Senior sister, why do you have so many friends? Lin Yan replied, I'm your boss. Is that all right? Boss? He pouted. Senior sister, why do you have a boss? Are you short of money? Yeah. Lin Yan glanced at the white crane and nodded without hesitation. I need a lot of money. Money is just a worldly possession. We can't bring it with us when we're alive and we can't bring it with us when we die. Senior sister, why do you need money? That kind of thing will make you lose yourself. It's not good. He said anxiously. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched as she stared at the crane. If I don't earn money, what are you going to eat? What are you going to drink? Supper is on me. He clenched his fists tightly when he heard Lin Yan. His face reddened instantly. In the end, the white crane gritted its teeth and said, looks like what master said might not be completely correct. Lin Yan glanced at the white crane, pleased. Had this kid finally understood? Later that night, Lin Yan brought the white crane to Xiao Yao's mansion. In the living room, Xiao Yao glanced at the white-veiled woman on Lin Yan's shoulder. He asked expressionlessly, does she know where your missing friend is? End of this chapter. Chapter 1139. Lin Yan nodded and replied, she knows where my friend is. Xiao Yao, who was deep in thought, sized up the woman in the white veil. Who is she? How did you find her? Lin Yan's gaze landed on the white crane. After I left your place tonight, many things happened. I was chased by someone, but he saved me. After that, Lin Yan told Xiao Yao everything that had happened that night. She only omitted the fact that the owner of the laboratory looked almost identical to her. After all, even Lin Yan hadn't figured out what had happened yet. Senior sister, who is he? Why did you tell him so much? The white crane glanced at Lin Yan. Xiao Yao sized up the white crane with interest before Lin Yan had a chance to speak. It's really not easy to have such an evolutionary level at such a young age, Xiao Yao said as he studied the white crane. Then you're telling the truth. I like it. The displeasure on the white crane's face dissipated, replaced by a smile. It's fine if she stays with me, but it's not a long-term solution. Xiao Yao sat down casually on the couch and spoke softly. That's true. As long as I can find my friend, this matter will be over. I won't make things difficult for them, replied Lin Yan. Since your friend's disappearance is related to this woman, Bai should be innocent. Why don't you let him go first? Asked Xiao Yao. Lin Yan didn't accept Xiao Yao's suggestion. Bai hadn't explained what had happened between her and Lin Yan, especially after she found out that the mistress of the laboratory looked similar to her. She suspected that Bai had mistaken her for the mistress of the laboratory. No matter what, she had to resolve the misunderstanding between her and Bai. Revenge was secondary. Bai insisted that she owed him 10 billion yuan. That absolutely wouldn't do. She could hit or kill her, but she couldn't say that she owed someone more than 10 billion yuan. Even if she owed someone 1,000,000 yuan, Lin Yan wouldn't be able to accept it. How long would it take for her to earn 1,000,000 yuan? How could she owe him just like that? Bai is locked in my room. If you want to resolve anything, you can do it now, said Xiao Yao. It's better to wait for her to wake up. Lin Yan glanced at the woman. Up to you, Xiao Yao said indifferently. I didn't hit him too hard. He should wake up tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, he said. Lin Yan was speechless. He would only wake up tomorrow or the day after. How could he not have been too harsh? After leaving Xiao Yao's mansion, Lin Yan tried her best to persuade him to let the White Crane stay at Wang Jingyang's apartment. Cloud Manor. After washing up, Lin Yan lay on the bed. Recently, too many ridiculous things had happened. It was like a mystery, but after entering this mystery, she found that there were many other mysteries, so she could never see the truth of the matter clearly. She clicked on Pei Yucheng's video call. Pei Yucheng appeared on Lin Yan's screen. The background of the video was a huge study. Pei Yucheng was in his pajamas with a stack of documents by his side. When are you coming back? Lin Yan asked softly as she watched Pei Yucheng. I've settled everything. I'll be back soon, Pei Yucheng replied gently. Great. Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief. Chapter 1140. Pei Yucheng had been away from the country for some time, so she didn't know anything about his situation at the Pei Corporation. She could only listen to him. Too many strange things had happened recently, and Lin Yan had lost her backbone. She was also very worried about Pei Yucheng. If Pei Yucheng returned to the country and stayed by her side, she might feel more at ease. Did anything happen recently? Pei Yucheng asked softly. Don't worry. Everything is fine at home. Nothing special happened. I just miss you, replied Lin Yan. Miss me? Pei Yucheng's eyes glinted when he heard Lin Yan. Let me tell you. If you don't come back soon, I will go and look for you. Lin Yan grinned at Pei Yucheng. Do you know the way? Asked Pei Yucheng. I don't, but I can ask Xing Chen and the others. I'm sure someone knows, replied Lin Yan. Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan frowned when Pei Yucheng remained silent. She suddenly jumped up from the bed and sat up. What's with your expression? Don't you want me to go? No. Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. It's just what? Asked Lin Yan curiously. You miss me. You just can't help but want to look at me, Pei Yucheng replied gently. Lin Yan was startled when she heard Pei Yucheng. If you want to come, you're welcome anytime. When I go back, I can bring you here to meet my people, replied Pei Yucheng. I'll wait for you then, replied Lin Yan. There were still many things that hadn't been resolved, especially Wang Jingyang's whereabouts. She wasn't in the mood to go anywhere. Occasionally, she would feel that she was too weak. She couldn't even protect the most important friend in her life. 2 days later, at the Pei Corporation in Country M, Pei Yucheng was in the study, dressed in a suit. He had just attended a family meeting. Not long after he sat down, the phone on the desk suddenly rang. This phone was specially used to contact Lin Yan. The corners of Pei Yucheng's mouth curled into a smile when he heard the ringtone. It was an unread message. Lin Yan asked, Baby, what are you doing? Pei Yucheng replied, I miss you. Lin Yan asked, Really? What do you think? Lin Yan replied, When will you be back? Didn't you say that you would be back in 2 days? Why aren't you back yet? Pei Yucheng replied, Something unexpected happened in the clan, so we have to postpone our trip. Lin Yan replied, I knew it. But it doesn't matter. Can you come out for a moment? Pei Yucheng was perplexed when he read the message. Pei Yucheng asked, Come out? Baby. Come out for a while. Come to the Pei Corporation. I have a surprise for you. He stood up and walked out of the study. A few minutes later, he arrived at the periphery of the Pei family. Baby. Seconds later, Lin Yan emerged from behind a tree. Pei Yucheng was startled when he saw Lin Yan. I told you that if you didn't come back, I would come looking for you. Don't ask me how I knew the address. I also told you that I would ask Xing Chen and the others. Lin Yan chuckled when she noticed that something was amiss. I thought you were joking. Pei Yucheng strode over to Lin Yan. Chapter 1141. Pei Yucheng glanced at the smiling girl beside him and asked softly, "Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" Lin Yan tugged at the corner of Pei Yucheng's shirt and replied gently, "Of course not. If I had told you in advance, it wouldn't have been a surprise. I was indeed surprised that you showed up today." Pei Yucheng grinned. "Baby, are you going to let me stand outside the Pei family's door forever?" Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng. "Don't you want to introduce me to your people? I believe that my people would be surprised to see you." Pei Yucheng held Lin Yan's hand gently. "Since you're here, I'll show you." Pei Yucheng led Lin Yan to the Pei family's building. After a few steps, Lin Yan, who was trailing behind Pei Yucheng, suddenly flashed a cold glint in her eyes. The corners of her mouth curled into a strange smile. A needle had appeared in Lin Yan's left hand, and there was a transparent liquid in it. In a split second, Lin Yan picked up the needle and stabbed him in the back. Bang! A second later, while Lin Yan was still in a daze, Pei Yucheng suddenly turned around and grabbed her wrist. Pei Yucheng's face was expressionless as he watched the needle in Lin Yan's hand curiously. "Why do you carry this with you? Are you feeling unwell?" Pei Yucheng asked softly. The coldness in Lin Yan's eyes dissipated when she heard Pei Yucheng. A smile appeared on her face once again as she replied softly, I might not be able to adapt to this environment. This is for me to use." Pei Yucheng nodded and replied gently, "Go ahead. I don't feel so uncomfortable now." "When I feel unwell," before Lin Yan could finish her sentence, Pei Yucheng snatched the needle from her hand. "Use it now. I'll help you." Pei Yucheng pointed the needle at Lin Yan. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth curled up as she vanished into thin air. Pei Yucheng remained expressionless as he glanced at the syringe. "If I'm not wrong, this smell should be a specially made tranquilizer. Even a high-level evolved being would be unconscious for many days." Lin Yan was standing not too far away from him, looking into his eyes. Seconds later, Lin Yan chuckled softly. "I'm curious how you found out. Did you notice?" Pei Yucheng fell into deep thought. Even if they have the same skin, it's hard to hide a different soul. "I've imitated you well enough. I monitor your communication every day, but I can't figure out what went wrong. How did you manage to see through me?" Lin Yan sighed, looking disappointed. "She has never called me baby. She has always addressed me as Mr. Pei," replied Pei Yucheng softly. "That's it?" Lin Yan was puzzled. "Of course not. I'm familiar with her every move and smile. Other than her appearance, you're far from being able to imitate her." Pei Yucheng replied calmly, "Besides, Xing Chen and the others don't know the exact location of the Pei Corporation. Seems like I was careless." Lin Yan chuckled softly. "Not necessarily. At least, I couldn't tell the truth from the fake the moment you appeared," Pei Yucheng replied. "I'm curious about who you are." End of this chapter. Chapter 1142. Pei Yucheng stood rooted to the ground as he sized up Lin Yan. His expression was calm as he said, "I'm curious about who you are." The woman in front of him looked exactly like Lin Yan. Even he couldn't tell the difference. Not only in terms of appearance, but even their auras were exactly the same. Unfortunately, no matter how perfect an imitation was, there would always be some traces. First of all, she hadn't imitated Lin Yan's personality and habits. This alone was enough to make Pei Yucheng suspicious. Other than that, Lin Yan would never have found the Pei Corporation's headquarters. Xing Chen and the others didn't know the exact location of the Pei Corporation's headquarters. Even if they knew and told Lin Yan, it would be impossible for her to pass through the fatal area alone. Who I am isn't important. It's indeed a pity today. Lin Yan stared at Pei Yucheng and sighed helplessly. Do we have a feud? Pei Yucheng glanced at Lin Yan and asked calmly. There's no feud between us. Lin Yan shook her head. In that case, what do you mean by this? Asked Pei Yucheng. That's exactly what I feel is a pity. Lin Yan grinned. You have very good evolutionary genes. If I bring you back to the laboratory and use you as a main body, I should be able to create many powerful postnatal evolved beings. I see. Pei Yucheng fell into deep thought. The laboratory that this person had mentioned was no stranger to Pei Yucheng. In this world, powerful evolvers would more or less have similar laboratories. They would use such laboratories to add new blood to their clans and obtain more and more powerful evolvers. However, such laboratories were very secretive. No one would make such a laboratory public. Even the Pei Corporation used to have a similar laboratory. However, it had been closed for some reason. Pei Yucheng, do you want to leave with me obediently? Become one of the main bodies in my laboratory and create more powerful evolved beings for me. Lin Yan stared at Pei Yucheng with a smile. I'm not interested, replied Pei Yucheng. It seems like you're unwilling to leave with me. In that case, I can only take you away by force. Pei Yucheng glanced at Lin Yan. Of course, if you have the ability. Before Lin Yan could reply, she heard footsteps approaching from the direction of the Pei Corporation's headquarters. Looks like today isn't a good time. After all, we're in your Pei clan's territory. It won't be easy to take you away. However, you can't stay in the Pei clan forever. I'll wait for you. Lin Yan chuckled softly before her body gradually vanished. Pei Yucheng frowned as he returned to the Pei family. What was the background of the woman who looked exactly like Lin Yan? Why was there no difference between their auras? If it weren't for the slight differences, he wouldn't have been able to tell. After today, if that woman's imitation became even more perfect, how would they be able to tell? Besides, he wondered if he should inform Lin Yan about this. Pei Yucheng had wanted to contact Lin Yan, but he gave up in the end. That woman must have cloned Lin Yan's contact number. She should be able to monitor all their communications. End of chapter. Chapter 1143. Capital City. Lin Yan opened the door to Wang Jingyang's apartment. The White Crane was lying on Wang Jingyang's bed, wearing his pajamas. White Crane, get up. Lin Yan walked to the bed and spoke to the White Crane. Lin Yan glanced at the White Crane and sighed helplessly. It was still drooling. Oh, the White Crane opened its eyes and looked at Lin Yan in confusion. Senior sister, I'm hungry. Then get up first. Why don't I order some food and feed you? Lin Yan glanced at the White Crane. The White Crane nodded. Okay. Senior sister, order some food and feed me. Lin Yan was speechless. How could he be so thick-skinned at such a young age? This wasn't a big deal. The main thing was that he didn't have any shame at all. Be good. Let's go out for a meal. I have to ask boss about my friend's whereabouts later, replied Lin Yan. After the White Crane woke up, Lin Yan took it to a food stall and took a taxi to Xiao Yao's villa. When they arrived, the door was shut. Lin Yan knocked for a few minutes, but no one answered. Lin Yan dialed Xiao Yao's number. What's the matter? Xiao Yao's voice came through the phone. Boss, I'm at your villa. Can you help me open the door? Lin Yan grinned. After a long silence on the phone, Xiao Yao's voice was heard again. It's in my villa. Lin Yan's smile gradually froze when she heard Xiao Yao's voice. What did he say? Which villa was it? How many villas did he have? How could he flaunt his wealth like that? The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Boss, it's the one that trapped Si Bai. Oh, I got it. I put the key in the flower pot. You can look for it yourself. Also, Si Bai and the woman you captured haven't eaten or drunk anything in 3 days. If they're not dead, get them some food. I'm in the company, so I can't leave. Lin Yan was speechless. 3 days without food? No way, boss. I just want to ask them about my friend's whereabouts. I don't want to kill them. Before Lin Yan could finish her sentence, the call was hung up. Xiao Yao had already hung up. Lin Yan just couldn't figure it out. As the only employee, she hadn't even seen a single customer. What kind of business did she have to deal with? She circled the garden and finally found the key that Xiao Yao had thrown into the flower pot. She then used it to open the door. Senior sister, where is he? He scanned the hall and asked. Search. Lin Yan sighed heavily. The villa had an upper floor and a lower floor, as well as 2 basement levels, and a few dozen rooms. About 15 minutes later, Lin Yan finally saw Si Bai and the white-veiled woman in the hall on the 2nd floor of the basement. Si Bai's lips were white, and there were obvious signs of dehydration. The white-veiled woman seemed to be in a good state of mind. One is the evolution of the brain, while the other is the evolution of the body. Of course, it's different, explained the white crane, which seemed to have read Lin Yan's mind. For this woman, she wouldn't die even if she didn't eat or drink for a month, let alone 3 days. However, this man is an evolver with a brain. If he doesn't eat and drink, I'm afraid he will become the son-in-law of Yama, he continued. Don't spout nonsense. Lin Yan frowned at the white crane. I'm not spouting nonsense. He sounded aggrieved. I mean, how could Yama take a fancy to such a son-in-law? Quipped Lin Yan. He was speechless. End of this chapter. Chapter 1144. Si Bai glared at Lin Yan sinisterly as he cackled maniacally. Do you know something? Lin Yan glanced at Si Bai and asked curiously, what do you know? I won't let you off. Si Bai sneered coldly. Wow. Lin Yan squatted down beside Si Bai and glared at him. You don't seem to understand your situation. You're already in my hands, yet you're still so arrogant. I think you should change your name. You shouldn't be called Si Bai anymore. You should be called arrogant. That's right. How dare you speak to my senior sister like that? Do you believe that I won't beat you to death? The white crane kicked Si Bai. Don't hit him. Lin Yan glanced at the white crane. Don't you know how strong you are? You can kick him to death. So what? I don't even know him, quipped the white crane. Lin Yan was speechless. She couldn't refute it. Be good. You can leave first. I have something to talk to them about. Lin Yan smiled at the white crane. The white crane shook its head. No, I have to protect you, senior sister. Protect me? Lin Yan frowned. Are you looking down on me? The white crane fell silent for a moment before it nodded at Lin Yan. Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan resisted the urge to kick the white crane to death and put on a smile. Listen to me, They don't have any fighting power now. You can go out and take a walk. The villa is huge, so there must be delicious food in the bathroom. Go and find something to eat and drink. Huh? The white crane was startled as it stared at Lin Yan strangely. The bathroom. What kind of food could there be? Lin Yan slapped her forehead. You angered me. It's not the bathroom. It's the kitchen. There's a fridge in the kitchen. There must be delicious food inside. Oh, alright then. I'll go to the bathroom. Senior sister, if anything happens, just shout for help. I'll definitely rush over in time. The white crane nodded. Before leaving, he glanced at Bai and the white-veiled woman. You adulterous couple, behave yourself. If you dare to have any evil intentions towards my senior sister, I'll just kill you and bury you. Humph. After saying that, the white crane strutted up the stairs and left the basement. Only Lin Yen, Bai, and the others were left in the huge basement. Lin Yen heaved a sigh of relief when the white crane left. He was really afraid that he would kick Bai to death. There was only a misunderstanding between her and Bai. In the end, it was enough to resolve the misunderstanding. There was no real enmity between the two of them. Bai, I heard that you haven't eaten or drunk in days. Do you want something to eat or drink? Lin Yen tossed the takeaway beside Bai. Hearing this, the corners of Bai's mouth curled up slightly. You're so kind. Don't tell me there's some poison in there. It's up to you, replied Lin Yen. Of course I want to eat. However, untie me first. These ropes are specially made. I don't have any strength, said Bai. Oh. Lin Yen looked at the special ropes on Bai's body and pondered for a long time. She frowned and said, then you should starve first. We'll talk about it after the misunderstanding between us is resolved. Lin Yen had suffered at Bai's hands before, so she had a rough understanding of his strength. The evolved ability of an evolved brain was extremely strange to her, and it was impossible to guard against it. She didn't dare untie these ropes. Chapter 1150. Sister, it's been a while. The man's eyes trailed to Lin Yen as the corners of his mouth curled up into a faint smile. This smile was like the collision of ice and fire, forming two extremes with the man himself. Instinctively, Lin Yen sized up the man. He was wearing a tailored suit that didn't have a single crease on it. There was an exquisite crescent tattoo on the corner of his shirt. He exuded a cold aura that made him seem unapproachable. The smile on his face didn't look too familiar, but there was a warmth in his eyes that didn't match his cold aura. For some reason, Lin Yen was curious about the man before her. However, she was more curious about how her sister looked like. Lin Yen scanned her surroundings. Other than her, there was no one else around the man. So who was he calling his sister? Let me help you, the man whispered to Lin Yen. Before Lin Yen could snap back to her senses, the man bent over and picked up the things on the ground for her. You bought so many supplements. Have you been feeling unwell recently? The man picked up the bags and handed them to Lin Yen. Huh? Lin Yen stared at the man in confusion. Who was he talking to? Was he talking to her? However, Lin Yen didn't recognize the man at all. She hadn't even seen him before. However, the man sounded as though he had known her for a long time. He didn't sound distant at all. Sorry, are you talking to me? Asked Lin Yen instinctively. Yeah. The man didn't deny it. Lin Yen was speechless. Indeed, he was talking to her. However, they didn't know each other. Also, was he referring to her as little sister just now? When had she had a brother? Why hadn't she known? Lin Yen seemed to recall something. Could this man have mistaken her for the female devil in the laboratory? Sorry, you've mistaken me for someone else. I don't have a brother. Lin Yen hurriedly distanced herself from him. I'm sorry. You've got the wrong person. I don't have a brother. Lin Yen hurriedly clarified. I'm sorry. You've mistaken me for someone else. I don't have a brother. The man sighed. Perhaps living like a fool for the rest of my life would be very blissful. The man sighed. Lin Yan's face darkened when she heard him. Who was this person calling a fool? He could even mistake his own sister. Even if he was stupid, he should be the one who was stupid. Lin Yan coughed softly and explained solemnly, I'm sorry, sir. You've got the wrong person. I just look a little like your sister. Suddenly, Lin Yan realized something. Didn't she want to know whether she had a twin sister or not? Since the man in front of her claimed to be the brother of the woman who looked like her, then this man should be very clear about this, right? At this thought, Lin Yan probed, pardon me for asking, but do you have two sisters? Is your sister a twin? The man shook his head gently. No. No? Did that mean that she merely resembled that woman? However, that was not necessarily the case. After all, the identity of the man in front of him was still uncertain, and it was impossible to determine the authenticity of his words. In any case, if this man really had something to do with that she-devil, he was definitely a dangerous person. It was better to stay away from him. End of chapter. Chapter 1151. Lin Yan was about to reply when a message popped up on her phone. What are you doing? Lin Yan hastily replied to her boyfriend's message. I'm buying something for my mother at the mall. Lin Yan shook her head after replying to the message. She turned to the man and said, anyway, you've got the wrong person. I only have one brother. The man didn't say anything else. He merely nodded. It's okay. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. How could it be okay? Just as he was speaking, an urgent ringtone came from his cell phone. Lin Yan glanced at her phone and her eyes widened in shock. It was Wang Jingyang. Doggy? Lin Yan's heart raced when she saw the caller ID. She picked up the call swiftly. However, Lin Yan didn't speak. She merely held her breath and waited quietly. Wang Jingyang had been missing for a long time, and she had received news that he was related to the laboratory. Hence, Lin Yan was certain that someone from the laboratory had used Wang Jingyang's phone to call her. She reckoned that they wanted to negotiate. She had captured the woman in the white veil. Lin Yan guessed that the laboratory wanted to exchange hostages. Of course, if that was the case, she could accept it. This would be the best outcome. As long as Wang Jingyang could return safely, she would be willing to pay the woman in the white veil. Speak. There was no sound on the other end of the line. Lin Yan couldn't help but frown and speak first. What Lin Yan hadn't expected was that she would hear the white crane's whimpering voice. Sister Senior, save me. Lin Yan was startled when she heard Bai He's voice. Bai He? What happened? Were you captured by the laboratory too? Lin Yan's heart was in a mess. She had no idea what had happened. How could she feel at ease if Bai He was implicated because of this? What laboratory? It has nothing to do with the laboratory, replied Bai He. Bai He, where are you? Asked Lin Yan anxiously. I'm at your friend's house, replied Bai He honestly. You're at Doggy's house? Lin Yan frowned. Hadn't she asked him to stay in Xiao Yao's villa to continue interrogating that woman? Why had he run away? The white crane groaned and said with some grievance, Senior sister, you're not here, and I'm alone with that woman. What a scandal. So I went back. In the end, a particularly fierce man suddenly barged in and even called the law enforcers of the human world to arrest me. Senior sister, come and save me. Master said that I can't do anything that violates the law. I must not be caught by the law enforcers of the human world. Lin Yan felt a headache coming on. What the hell? What are you talking about? Wang Jingyang's voice was heard over the phone. I saw a stranger at home, so I called the police. Lin Yan, when did you have such a silly junior? Lin Yan's pupils constricted when she heard him. This voice, there was no mistaking it. It was Wang Jingyang's voice. Wang Jingyang was back. You're Wang Jingyang? Lin Yan, who was in disbelief, asked tentatively. Duh. Can't you tell that yours truly has such a magnetic voice? There was no mistake. It was a familiar voice and the way she was most familiar with communicating. This damn dog. Chapter 1152. Pup, what happened? Did you escape from the lab? Or did they let you go? Tell me the truth. Lin Yan yelled anxiously. What lab? It's a mess. I don't know what you're talking about. I just came back from work. Wang Jingyang's voice rang out. F***CK. You stupid dog. Where the hell have you been? You haven't appeared for more than a month. Are you going to die? I want to ask you, what's wrong with this little guy? He's actually wearing my pajamas. It's fine if he's wearing pajamas, but he's actually drinking the drinks in my fridge and eating the chocolates in my fridge. When I told the police to arrest him, he said that he was your junior. Lin Yan, if you don't explain yourself, I won't let you off. Lin Yan was speechless, so the law enforcer had been referring to the police? This D***MN kid must have watched too much television. Did he think that he was an immortal? Lin Yan hurriedly explained, don't call the police. I did ask him to stay at your place. It's a long story. I'm going to look for you now. Wait for me. I haven't settled the score with you yet. Lin Yan reminded him repeatedly before hanging up. Then, she dashed out of the mall like a gust of wind. Half an hour later, Lin Yan arrived at Wang Jingyang's apartment. The moment she arrived, she saw that the door was open and the apartment was in a mess. The moment he saw Lin Yan, it pounced on her like a swallow. Senior sister. However, before it could get close to Lin Yan, Wang Jingyang grabbed its collar and pulled it back. Explain yourself. Why are you calling me your relative? You haven't cleared your name for trespassing. Wang Jingyang sneered coldly before Lin Yan and he had a chance to speak. There are 16 bottles of drinks in my fridge, 3 boxes of limited edition chocolates, and all sorts of snacks. Including the electric bill for the air conditioner and the tax for flushing the toilet, it's at least 10,000 yuan. Just 1 box of chocolates. 6 bottles of drinks. All the snacks are leftovers. He sounded aggrieved. Shut up. I said 16 bottles, so it's 16 bottles. I said 3 boxes of chocolates, so it's 3 boxes. Wang Jingyang snorted coldly. Alright, Lin Yan's first reaction when she saw Wang Jingyang was to scrutinize him from head to toe. When she saw how lively and energetic he was, she finally relaxed. Doggy, how are you? Are you injured? Did they make things difficult for you? How did you escape from the lab? When Wang Jingyang heard this, a trace of coldness flashed across his eyes. However, it disappeared in the blink of an eye and turned into a blank expression. He scratched his head and said, What laboratory? What escape? Why don't I understand what you're saying? Lin Yan frowned. Weren't you captured by the laboratory for human experiments? Wang Jingyang blinked innocently. Lin Yan, have you watched too many dramas? Human experiments? Pup, what exactly happened? Don't be afraid. Tell me everything. I will help you. I won't hurt you. Don't hide anything from me. Lin Yan stared at Wang Jingyang with a frown. She felt that Wang Jingyang might have been frightened to death. This reminded her of when she had been bullied by her classmates and she hadn't dared to tell her parents. Wang Jingyang stroked his chin and glared at Lin Yan. Are you out of your mind? Can't you just hope that I'm better? Why would I be captured by a laboratory and undergo human experiments? Am I going to be dissected and studied later? Chapter 1153. Lin Yan was puzzled as well. Wang Jingyang didn't seem like he was lying. Could he have made a mistake? That wasn't possible. Bai He had said. Lin Yan's eyes trailed to Bai He as she asked solemnly, Bai He, what happened? You were tracking Wang Jingyang's aura. Bai He pinched his nose. Didn't I tell you? It has been a long time, and his aura is very weak. I'm not 100% sure. I might have made a mistake. Lin Yan was speechless. What, a mistake? She had beaten up the people in the lab and even captured the girl in the lab. How could this fellow say that he had made a mistake? I'll cut your snacks by half in the future. Lin Yan glared at Bai He. Bai He felt so aggrieved that he was about to burst into tears. Senior sister, Lin Yan ignored the kid and turned to Wang Jingyang, who was full of energy and vigor. Lin Yan asked, where did you go when you were gone? Wang Jingyang replied, I found a job and I went to work. Lin Yan was speechless. What? Work? What kind of job could make you disappear for so long? You didn't pick up my calls or reply to my messages. Have you been captured to dig coal? Wang Jingyang clicked his tongue. Look at what you're saying. So in your heart, I'm only fit to dig coal? Lin Yan's anger flared up when she saw how heartless he was. You'd better tell me the truth. Where did you go? Did you really not encounter any danger? Wang Jingyang replied helplessly, I really accepted a private job. It was a confidential job, so I couldn't contact anyone. How could I have encountered any danger? Lin Yan glanced at Wang Jingyang doubtfully. Could the person who had been captured really not be Wang Jingyang? Lin Yan muttered to herself, that's true. You're poorer than me, single, and weak. Why would they kidnap you for no reason? Why would they want to earn a living? The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched when he heard Lin Yan. Lin Yan raised her leg and kicked Wang Jingyang's leg. At that moment, Lin Yan believed him. The White Crane's words had already proven the problem. Even the White Crane had said that the aura judgment might not be accurate, and Wang Jingyang's current mental state and appearance. There was King mistake. It didn't matter if he made a mistake, but what about the white-veiled woman he caught? The joke had gone too far. CK. Wang Jingyang almost fell to the ground as he stared at the footprint on his pants in confusion. Lin Yan, what are you doing? You still dare to ask me? I'll break your King leg. 1 month. He disappeared for an entire month. Why didn't you come back before the new year? Even if you're going to work, don't you know to tell me? Before Wang Jingyang could reply, Lin Yan gritted her teeth and hissed, do you know who I offended because you didn't answer my call? You stupid dog. Wang Jingyang couldn't help but feel touched by Lin Yan's concern. A second later, Lin Yan bellowed, don't travel far when your parents are still alive. Don't you understand that? Wang Jingyang's face turned as black as the bottom of a wok. Lin Yan snorted coldly. Who would have thought that you would have a change of heart and run off to earn money? Chapter 1154. Pup had made a fortune. Lin Yan's eyes darted around as she pretended to say casually, oh yeah, I remember that your birthday is coming soon, right? Wang Jingyang had a bad feeling about this. How could you remember my birthday? Lin Yan raised an eyebrow. Of course. What's our relationship? Wang Jingyang looked at her doubtfully, but he was still a little touched. How rare. Lin Yan giggled as she patted Wang Jingyang's shoulder. Pup, in that case. Why don't you give me a bottle of skincare? I'm not picky. The purple bottle essence from Nature Hall is good. Wang Jingyang doubted his own ears in disbelief. It's my birthday. Why should I be the one to give you something? Wang Jingyang, who had been touched for a second, realized something. She had obviously heard that he had made a fortune, so she was trying to scam him. Lin Yan crossed her arms and said boldly, "Who said that you can't? And do you know how worried I was when you disappeared? You unfilial son." Bai He, who had been hiding beside Lin Yan, peeked out with a jealous expression. "Big brother, senior sister was really worried about you. I've been looking for you for days and even went to that dangerous laboratory. I think senior sister treats you really well. If only she cared for me even a tiny fraction of what she does for you, I would die without regrets. I'm really envious of you." Lin Yan was satisfied with Bai He's words. This child was finally reliable for once. But why did the tone of his words sound a little weird? Wang Jingyang felt that something was amiss when he heard Bai He's words. However, he couldn't pinpoint what it was. He only noticed that Lin Yan was worried about him and coughed awkwardly. "TSK. How could she be worried about me? If she suddenly starts worrying about me one day, there's only one reason. I owe her money." Wang Jingyang said that he didn't believe it, but in the end, he picked up his phone and searched the flagship store of Nature Hall. Double yeast essence * 2 times astaxanthin, gold concentration nicotinamide, is this the essence? Lin Yan leaned over and nodded excitedly. "Yes, that's it." Wang Jingyang coughed lightly and said, "Why essence? I think the lipstick and lipstick are pretty good too." Lin Yan shook her head immediately. "I only need the essence." Wang Jingyang looked puzzled, as this wasn't Lin Yan's style. "Why?" Lin Yan blinked and replied matter-of-factly, "Because if another man gives me lipstick, my boyfriend will be jealous." Wang Jingyang. Not only did he have to give her a present for his birthday, but he also had to be stuffed with dog food by her. Was there any justice in this world? Huh. That little bit of emotion he felt just now instantly vanished into thin air. Wang Jingyang was about to retort when the sound of footsteps came from the door. Then, he saw 2 tall men with powerful auras walking toward his small apartment one after another. Lin Yan, who noticed Wang Jingyang's gaze, followed his line of sight. Then, he saw Xiao Ji, and the man next to him was Xiao Yao. Xiao Ji and Wang Jingyang were friends, so it was normal for Xiao Ji to be there. It was also possible for Xiao Yao to be there alone. However, it was a little strange for both of them to be there at the same time. The little purple bottle essence was one of Nature Hall's star products. It mainly focused on repair, light lines, and translucent skin. It was especially suitable for fairies who stayed up late. End of this chapter. Chapter 1155. When Xiao Ji and Xiao Yao walked side by side, Lin Yan actually felt that although they had different auras, they looked somewhat similar in terms of appearance. Besides, both of them had the same surname. Lin Yan glanced at Xiao Ji before turning to Xiao Yao. Instinctively, she blurted out, "Xiao Ji and boss. Why are the two of you here together? Are you really long-lost brothers?" Xiao Yao replied expressionlessly, "No." Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief. "No, I knew it. How could there be such a coincidence? How could you possibly be brothers?" Xiao Ji chuckled softly and quipped, "You haven't been separated for many years." Lin Yan was taken aback when she heard him. "What? What do you mean?" Bai He blinked. "Sister senior, they must be saying that they haven't been separated for many years. They are biological brothers." Lin Yan's eyes widened in shock. "No way." Xiao Ji glanced at Lin Yan with an indescribable expression. Am I hallucinating? You seem even more foolish than before. Lin Yan's face darkened. How could this fellow say that? This was the second person who had called her foolish today. Lin Yan stared at Xiao Ji and Xiao Yao in disbelief. These two people were actually biological brothers. How could she not have thought of this? No, how could she have thought of this? She couldn't possibly have thought of this just because they had the same surname. Boss, are you really his brother? Lin Yan asked Xiao Yao in disbelief. No. Xiao Yao shook his head. He is his brother. Lin Yan was speechless. This was even more ridiculous than a TV drama. Was the world that small? Shouldn't the world be huge? Who would believe that she had met her brother abroad and her brother in the country? At this time, Xiao Ji suddenly cast a casual glance at Wang Jingyang. What are you looking at? Wang Jingyang couldn't help but glance at Xiao Ji. You're ugly, Xiao Ji said expressionlessly as he stared at Wang Jingyang. Hearing Xiao Ji's words, Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched slightly. Xiao Ji, you can insult me, but you can't lie through your teeth. How am I ugly? If you don't say it today, we won't be finished. Xiao Ji stared at Wang Jingyang for a long time. Your face. You're ugly, your face is ugly, you're the one who's F*king ugly, your whole family is ugly. Wang Jingyang said angrily. Xiao Ji didn't care. He stared at Wang Jingyang and said lightly, I heard that you've been missing for a long time. Little Yan has been looking for me many times. Where have you been? Hearing that, Wang Jingyang sneered, what does that have to do with you? That's a confidential job. It's absolutely confidential. No one can tell anyone about it. This is the quality of work. Do you understand? Hearing Wang Jingyang's words, Xiao Ji looked pensive. I see. You know? Wang Jingyang frowned. Lin Yan glanced at Xiao Ji curiously. Do you really know where he went? Yeah. Xiao Ji nodded and glanced at Lin Yan. It's easy to analyze, but you're too silly. Lin Yan was speechless. You're the silly one. Hurry up and tell me. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. He should have been caught, Xiao Yao, who was standing next to Xiao Ji, said. I think so too. Xiao Ji nodded. End of chapter. Chapter 1156. Tell me in detail. Lin Yan glanced at Xiao Yao before turning to Xiao Ji. Xiao Ji seemed to know something. You were released from prison today and imprisoned for a month, right? Xiao Ji stared at Wang Jingyang as he spoke softly. Released from prison? Wang Jingyang was dumbfounded. Why had he been released from prison? That wasn't right. Why had he been released from prison? Wasn't there something wrong with his choice of words? Besides Wang Jingyang, Lin Yan was confused as well. Released from prison. Wasn't that a term that could only be used after one had been arrested? What a joke. Xiao Ji, what do you know? Don't spout nonsense. Wang Jingyang glanced at Xiao Ji. Are you afraid? Xiao Ji looked thoughtful. I'm afraid? Wang Jingyang glanced at Xiao Ji in confusion. What am I afraid of? What's there to be afraid of? You're afraid that I'll tell everyone the truth, quipped Xiao Ji. What do you know? What's there to be afraid of? All right, tell me. If you can't, then I'll tell you. Then tell me. Lin Yan is the one who's afraid. Xiao Ji glanced at Wang Jingyang and said expressionlessly, you were arrested. Lin Yan staggered and almost choked on her own saliva. Xiao Ji was really good at chatting. He had killed them several times. And he had attacked them indiscriminately. Wang Jingyang was so angry that he almost couldn't breathe. He bellowed. Who was arrested as a PC? You were the one who was arrested. The F*King PC was arrested. You cripple. Why are you standing and walking today? Where's your wheelchair? You don't need anyone to push you today, Wang Jingyang hissed coldly. Xiao Ji chuckled. It's fine. I've been in good health recently, so I can barely walk. Are you angry because I was right? In that case, why did you go to prison? Nonsense. You're just jealous of me. You're trying to frame me. Are you even human? Lin Yan stroked her chin as she studied Wang Jingyang's reaction. Doggy, did you really get caught? You disappeared for so long, yet you said that you needed to keep it a secret. That's really suspicious. Xiao Ji's words make sense. Holy sh*t. You can shut up. Can't you hope for something good from me? Do you think I need that with my looks? Wang Jingyang was about to die from anger. Lin Yan looked enlightened. Yeah, you're right. Given your looks, it's more likely that you'll become a prostitute. Wang Jingyang, what the F***, Bai He, who was at the side, asked curiously, Sister Shi, what is Nyolang? Is it herding cows? Lin Yan coughed softly. You don't have to know that. Lin Yan was busy dealing with the curious baby when she heard a ding behind her. The elevator at the end of the corridor had risen. Lin Yan's eyes had inadvertently swept in the direction of the elevator. She was about to avert her gaze when the elevator door opened. When she saw the man inside, her eyes widened in disbelief. The man was wearing a loose black trench coat and a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. He looked travel-worn and his gaze passed through the short distance and landed on her. Of course, at the same time, he saw the other 4 people beside Lin Yan. Chapter 1157. Xiao Ji and Xiao Yao glanced at Pei Yucheng curiously. Wang Jingyang's expression changed instantly, and Bai He cast a suspicious glance at her. Lin Yan didn't have the time to care about their expressions. Her first reaction was surprise, followed by fear. F***ck. Pei Yucheng. Wasn't he at the Pei family's headquarters? He had been texting her just a moment ago. Why would he suddenly appear here? Why did he have to appear now? Lin Yan glanced at Xiao Ji on her left and Xiao Yao on her right. Then, she glanced at Wang Jingyang, who had a handsome young man clinging to his wrist. She had just replied that she was buying something for her mother at the mall. How could she explain herself now? This scene was too easy to misunderstand. Why had Pei Yucheng suddenly returned to the country and found his way here? Lin Yan's mind raced. Before she could react, she had already dashed in Pei Yucheng's direction. Lin Yan and Pei Yucheng's eyes met. Neither of them had expected this to happen. Both of them were stunned for a moment. A second later, Lin Yan threw herself into Pei Yucheng's arms. Darling, when did you come back? Why didn't you tell me? Pei Yucheng's expression faltered when he heard the girl call him darling. He retracted his gaze from the 4 people behind the girl and turned to look at the girl's delighted face. I just came back. Pei Yucheng paused before he added, sorry, I wanted to give you a surprise when I saw you. That's why I used a special method. I thought you were at the mall. Hence, Pei Yucheng had probably wanted to give her a surprise after sending her the message. Thus, he had used his mental strength to locate her and come looking for her. She hadn't expected to find him here. Lin Yan felt even more guilty when Pei Yucheng apologized to her. How sinful. Why had she accepted the scumbag's script again? She had been wronged. If it hadn't been for the pressure in the air that made her hair stand on end, Lin Yan would have thought that Pei Yucheng was still as calm as usual. She didn't know if it was because she had come into contact with evolved beings recently, but she could gradually sense the special aura of an evolved being. Pei Yucheng's eyes didn't linger on Lin Yan. Instead, he turned to Xiao Ji. Some time ago, when he was attacked in the Pei family, Xiao Ji appeared and took away the mysterious man who wanted to kill him. At this moment, Xiao Ji suddenly appeared here, which was indeed thought-provoking. What did the appearance of Xiao Ji mean this time? Lin Yan hurriedly pointed at the pile of supplements in the corner and explained, I was in the mall just now. I received a call, so I came here. Pei Yucheng didn't comment on Lin Yan's explanation. Aren't you going to introduce him? In that instant, several pairs of eyes met, and the atmosphere was on the verge of exploding. Lin Yan had already calmed down a little. What was there to feel guilty about? This had been a misunderstanding. All she had to do was explain herself. Pei Yucheng wasn't an unreasonable person. Lin Yan glanced at Xiao Ji and was about to introduce him. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. This is, Xiao Ji interrupted Lin Yan. Let me introduce myself. I'm Xiao Ji, Lin Yan's boyfriend. End of chapter. Chapter 1158. Lin Yan was speechless. What the hell? The moment Xiao Ji spoke, Lin Yan coughed so hard that she almost choked on her own saliva. She glared at Xiao Ji with a murderous look. Was there something wrong with this fellow's EQ? Was there something wrong with his brain too? When had he become her boyfriend? This should have been easy to explain, but in the end, he had turned it into a battlefield. Even Xiao Yao was stunned, and Bai He's eyes widened. As for Pei Yucheng's expression, it was needless to say, this pressure was no less terrifying than when Pei Yucheng had gone berserk. What boyfriend? Don't spout nonsense. Don't you know how to speak? Before Lin Yan could speak, Wang Jingyang had already stepped forward and bellowed at Xiao Ji. Lin Yan was so touched that she almost teared up. Pup, you should be her future husband. Wang Jingyang corrected Xiao Ji. The smile on Lin Yan's face froze when she heard Wang Jingyang. Xiao Ji, who was deep in thought, nodded and chuckled softly. Yes, I'm her husband. Wang Jingyang raised an eyebrow at Xiao Ji, hinting that he was right. This was a declaration of sovereignty. It would be best if Pei Yucheng flew into a rage and forced Lin Yan to break up with him. Then, he would have achieved his goal. F***ck. Lin Yan wanted to bite Xiao Ji and Wang Jingyang to death when she heard them. Lin Yan glared at them and gritted her teeth. She enunciated each word carefully. Let me introduce myself again. Xiao Ji. She was. I rejected. Absolutely. Chaste. Begged. Chaste. Lin Yan turned to Xiao Yao and said, This is Xiao Yao, my current boss. He is the younger brother of the suitor I rejected. Then, she turned to Wang Jingyang. This fellow, Wang Jingyang, is the friend of the suitor whom I have rejected. Then, she turned to the white crane and said, I don't know this young man. He is the tenant of the friend of the suitor whom I rejected. Xiao Ji was speechless, Xiao Yao was speechless. Wang Jingyang, Bai He. The four of them fell silent after hearing Lin Yan's introduction. She grabbed the man's hand and said loudly, Let me introduce you. This is Mr. Pei. He's my boyfriend and future husband. Let everyone know. I hope that no one will believe in the rumors and not spread them. Thank you. Wang Jingyang's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. He had thought that Pei Yucheng would fly into a rage after hearing Xiao Ji's words. He hadn't expected that this wretched girl would be so shameless. She had ignored his feelings and cut all ties with him. How was he introduced? The friends of the suitor whom she had already rejected? Although he knew that Lin Yan was spouting nonsense, his expression softened a little. Pei Yucheng glanced at Wang Jingyang. I heard from Xiaoyan that you were taken away. It's good that you're fine. Wang Jingyang's plan had failed, so he had no choice but to give up for now. He instinctively denied it. No, no, no. Don't listen to her nonsense. His Piaochang was taken away by the law enforcement officers. Apart from Piaochang, he seemed to have gone to Dunyolang. At this moment, Bai He, who was at the side, answered subconsciously. The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched as he looked at the white crane. Pei Yucheng stared at Wang Jingyang in silence. Finally, he said, although you're young, you have to take care of your health. Wang Jingyang stammered, why was he the one who got hurt in the end? Chapter 1159. Bai He was a little upset that Lin Yan had cut ties with him. However, Lin Yan's stern gaze warned it not to stick close to her. It could only whimper pitifully, "Senior sister, I'm not a tenant. Why aren't you acknowledging me? Previously, senior brother and the others said that you had been abducted by a man at the foot of the mountain. I didn't believe them at first, but to think that you would abandon us for this man." The more Bai He spoke, the angrier he got. What's so good about this man? He's so ugly. Bai He had only said half of the word ugly when he caught a glimpse of Pei Yucheng's mesmerizing face. He couldn't go on. He turned his head away and said, "All right, let's just say that he's good-looking. However, I can tell that he's poor." The corners of Wang Jingyang's mouth twitched when he heard this. He's the boss of JM Corporation. Bai He was confused. Is the boss rich? Wang Jingyang sighed. You can say that he's the richest man at the foot of the mountain. Bai He looked as though he had suffered a blow. He was about to retort when a thought struck him. Suddenly, he sized Pei Yucheng up suspiciously. Have we met before? You look so familiar. Lin Yan really didn't want Pei Yucheng to stay here any longer. Otherwise, who knew what kind of shocking things these guys would say? These single dogs were definitely jealous of her. They couldn't bear to see her doing well. Sorry, everyone. My boyfriend is here to pick me up. I'll leave first. Please help yourselves. Doggy, don't worry. I'll keep your little secret to myself. Also, Bai He, you can stay here from now on. Just treat this as your own home. Don't stand on ceremony. When Wang Jingyang saw that Lin Yan had left, he howled in shock. F***CK. You left just like that? What kind of bird did you take with you? Why did you throw it at me? What do you mean by your own home? This is my home. You haven't even paid for my food and drinks. Also, I don't have any secrets. However, Lin Yan had already disappeared with Pei Yucheng in tow. Wang Jingyang was so angry that he almost fainted. He glared at Xiao Ji in exasperation. What a waste of his efforts to help the evildoer. Cloud Manor. She had finally left that chaotic place. When she reached home, there was no one to disturb her. She could finally talk to Pei Yucheng. Mr. Pei, it was really a misunderstanding. They were just spouting nonsense. You won't be angry about this, right? Pei Yucheng removed his jacket and sat down on the couch. He glanced at Lin Yan and asked, "What if I get angry?" Lin Yan was startled. She tried to put herself in his shoes. They had been apart for so long, and Pei Yucheng had finally rushed back to give her a surprise. In the end, a man had appeared out of nowhere and claimed to be her boyfriend. Anyone would be angry. However, she was indeed a victim this time. Lin Yan looked conflicted, but she had no choice but to confess honestly. Chapter 1160. Pei Yucheng glanced at Lin Yan. Where's Wang Jingyang? Lin Yan blinked and contemplated this question seriously. Then, she replied, "Doggy. He can't do anything about it. It's fine if he's poor and ugly. I don't mind. After all, a mother wouldn't mind her son being ugly." Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan replied sincerely, "Anyway, dear, nothing is more important to me than you. You have to believe me." Lin Yan had just started to coax him when she heard a loud rumbling sound coming from her bedroom. Lin Yan turned her head and saw the mischievous ragdoll rummaging through the drawers and cabinets. Everything on the desk had been overturned by it. It had extended its claws and was about to reach for the bottles on the dresser again. Lin Yan wailed and dashed into the bedroom at lightning speed, ignoring Pei Yucheng. Unfortunately, Cat's Claw's speed was too fast. By the time she rushed over, the bottle of Snow Domain Ice Muscle Potion that she had just opened was already in trouble. More than half of it had spilled out. Little B** starred. "What grudge do I have against you? I picked you up and provided for you to eat and drink, and this is how you repay me. How many times have you done this?" Lin Yan felt a sharp pain in her heart. She hurriedly used a cotton pad to salvage the situation and patted her face and neck frantically. Meanwhile, in the living room, Pei Yucheng was speechless as he stared at his wife, who had just said that nothing was more important than you. Then, she had forgotten about him because of a bottle of lotion. His expression was indescribable. Lin Yan, who was still immersed in her grief, didn't notice Pei Yucheng's reaction. Pei Yucheng sighed softly as he massaged his temples. A second later, the man raised his head and saw Lin Yan, who had been in the bedroom, dashing towards him anxiously. Before Pei Yucheng could react, he felt his glasses being taken off his face. Then, he felt a chill on his cheeks. The girl's hands were pressed against his face. Lin Yan applied the lotion for him as she yelled anxiously, "Hurry! Hurry! Apply more. Don't waste it. Apply some to your neck too." Pei Yucheng was speechless. Pei Yucheng's face darkened as he watched his wife work on his face. She had even unbuttoned his shirt. "Nothing is more important than me." The man raised his eyebrows and asked in a low voice. Lin Yan froze when she heard him. She coughed softly and looked embarrassed. No. I'm not being stingy. I'm definitely not being stingy. It's this ice muscle lotion that's really useful. This is the star product of Nature Hall. It's a small molecule glacier water from the Himalayas at 5,182 meters. It's moisturizing, antioxidant, and fresh. Lin Yan's voice became softer and softer. In the end, she realized that she was in the wrong and decided to use her trump card. "Mr. Pei, we haven't seen each other in a long time. Since you're finally back, why don't we go on a date tomorrow?" Pei Yucheng's expression softened as he glanced at Lin Yan in surprise. "You can do it?" "Of course not. If Sister Ling found out, she would be dead. If he was photographed, he would be done for." However, ever since Pei Yucheng had possessed her body and sent her a text to ask her out, Lin Yan realized that Pei Yucheng seemed to be obsessed with dating. However, their relationship didn't seem to be a relationship at all. They hadn't even gone on a date. Hence, this was the only way she could coax Pei Yucheng. Hence, Lin Yan had no choice but to bite the bullet and say, "Sure, of course. Anyway, my rumored boyfriend is everywhere. It's not a big deal even if someone takes a photo." Pei Yucheng was speechless. Lin Yan replied, What I mean is that you're different from those rumored boyfriends. Our date is open and above board." Pei Yucheng pressed on. "What if someone takes a photo?" Lin Yan muttered, Lin Yan realized miserably that this seemed to be another fatal question. Nature Hall's Ice Muscle Lotion sold one bottle every 6 seconds and had received more than 110,000 reviews. Those who stayed up late to watch dramas could use it with the purple bottle essence. The effect would be even better. End of this chapter. Chapter 1161. If she was caught, Sister Ling would definitely cover it up with public relations. However, Lin Yan's survival instincts told her that she couldn't answer him. When she met Pei Yucheng's cold eyes, Lin Yan gritted her teeth and replied resolutely, "So what if I manage to get a picture? If it's caught, we can just publicize it." Lin Yan thought to herself that she could just wear a pair of sunglasses and a hat and go somewhere with fewer people. She wouldn't be photographed anyway. Pei Yucheng studied Lin Yan's righteous expression and the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. "In that case, I don't have to worry." Lin Yan replied, "Don't worry." Pei Yucheng nodded and said, "Let's go to the amusement park tomorrow." Lin Yan was speechless. Go to the amusement park? Lin Yan felt as though she had been struck by a bolt from the blue when she heard that. There were too many people at the amusement park. She was popular now, so there was a high chance that she would be recognized. Besides, Pei Yucheng was also very eye-catching. Tomorrow was the weekend, so it would definitely be crowded. What's wrong? Pei Yucheng cast a suspicious look at her. She had bragged. Even if she cried, she had to continue bragging. Lin Yan clung to a last glimmer of hope. "Mr. Pei, this doesn't seem to suit your tastes. Do you like amusement parks?" Pei Yucheng replied, "I do." Lin Yan had no choice but to reply tearfully, "Oh. It's fine. Amusement parks are good." That night, Lin Yan couldn't sleep. In the end, she couldn't help but get up and call Duo. "Darling Duo, I have something I want to ask you." "Why are you calling me so late at night? What's so important?" Qian Duo sounded sleepy. "Ahem. It's quite important." Lin Yan deliberated over her words before she said, If I expose my relationship, what would happen?" The other end of the line fell silent for a moment before Qian Duo replied, "Nothing much." Lin Yan felt a glimmer of hope. "Nothing much? Does that mean it's fine?" Qian Duo yawned and replied calmly, "Nothing much. Sister Ling will just break my legs." The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. "Is it that serious? I used to have a lot of scandals too." Qian Duo said angrily, "How can it be the same as before? Have you thought about the consequences of this? Your career has finally taken a turn for the better. If your relationship is exposed, you will be torn to shreds by Pei Nanxiu's fans. Don't you know how scary Mr. Pei's fans are?" Lin Yan was speechless. Lin Yan was rendered speechless as she listened to Duo's rant. Why didn't this girl listen to her? How could she insist that her boyfriend was Pei Nanxiu? "Sister Yan, if you don't want to die, you'd better hide him well. Otherwise, I won't be able to collect your corpse." Lin Yan whined, "Baby, calm down. I told you that my boyfriend isn't Mr. Pei. We're really just relatives. Who are you trying to fool?" Chapter 1162. Lin Yan tried to explain to Duo but to no avail. In the end, she had no choice but to hang up. The next day, Lin Yan woke up with dark circles under her eyes. After thinking about it for the whole night, she had finally figured it out. She had to deal with whatever came her way. If someone had taken a photo, she would just publicize it. She had been through a lot. However, even though Lin Yan had this thought, she couldn't help but shudder at the thought of Pei Yucheng's fans. Although Pei Yucheng wasn't in the entertainment industry, his loyal fans were 100 times scarier than Pei Yucheng's fans. "Are you sure you want to go?" Pei Yucheng, who seemed to sense Lin Yan's hesitation, paused at the entrance. Lin Yan met Pei Yucheng's eyes, which seemed to be able to see through everything. Of course. We agreed last night. How can I go back on my word? Besides, I don't have much time to spend with you. It's rare that you want to go somewhere. Even if you want to go to an amusement park, I will go with you. Pei Yucheng chuckled softly and stroked the girl's hair. You don't have to. Finally, Lin Yan arrived at the amusement park, feeling as though she had made a huge sacrifice. As expected, the amusement park was crowded on the weekends. No wonder it was the biggest and most luxurious amusement park in the capital city. It was as dreamy as a fairy tale. However, the fees were exorbitant. You couldn't bring your own food, as the food there was 10 times more expensive than outside. If you didn't want to queue, you had to pay for a ticket to use the express lane. Even so, there were people queuing 365 days a year. Fortunately, everyone was having fun and didn't pay much attention to the people around them. Lin Yan was wearing a pair of large sunglasses, so she didn't attract much attention. What troubled her most was that she had no idea what to do at an amusement park. Who would have thought that the Queen of Scandals, who had seen countless scandals, was actually a straight woman who had no sense of romance at all? Lin Yan felt that she was out of place. Just as she was feeling awkward, she felt a sudden warmth on her palm. Pei Yucheng had grabbed her hand and carefully avoided the crowd. He pulled her to a stall that sold all sorts of cute hair bands and accessories. Next to the stall, there were a few couples who were also choosing their hair bands. One of the girls was whining happily to her boyfriend. "Darling, this is so cute. I really want it. Will you wear it with me?" "Me? How am I supposed to wear this pink one?" The boy looked at the overly cute pink Mickey Mouse ear headband with a troubled expression. "Aya, come with me. It's so boring for me to wear it alone." "How cute." In the end, the boy still couldn't resist his girlfriend's coquettishness. "Fine, fine, fine. I'll do as you say." Pei Yucheng picked up a pink cat ear headband and glanced at Lin Yan. "Do you want it?" Lin Yan stared at the adorable headband and scratched her head. Isn't it too childish? Moreover, what the heck was this? Why was a hairband so expensive? 99 yuan for one? I'm not even willing to buy it for 9.90 yuan. Pei Yucheng leaned forward slightly and pressed his forehead against the girl's. "I like it. Wear it with me, okay?" he asked softly. Lin Yan felt as though she had fallen into a volcano. Her body temperature rose, and she almost emitted smoke. Like a computer whose program had been modified, she immediately corrected herself. All right. Bye. I'll buy it for you. I'll wear it with you. Come on, let's talk about a love that will make us bankrupt. End of chapter. Chapter 1163. Lin Yan accompanied Pei Yucheng as he put on the pink cat ears. Then, Pei Yucheng led her to the photo booth. Lin Yan studied the colorful photos before she glanced at Pei Yucheng. She felt as though the image of Pei Yucheng in her heart had been overturned. "Mr. Pei, you want to take this photo?" Lin Yan looked incredulous. Pei Yucheng lowered his eyes and tightened his grip on the girl's hand. "Can I?" Lin Yan glanced at the price. It was only 10 yuan per photo. It was quite cheap. Of course. It's my treat." Lin Yan replied generously. 10 minutes later, the two of them came out of the photo booth. Pei Yucheng had taken more than 600 photos and had developed every single one of them. 1 minute was 60 seconds, so 10 minutes was 600 seconds. They had taken an average of 1 photo per second. More than 600 photos cost 10 yuan per photo. That was a total of more than 6,000 yuan. Lin Yan had assumed that Pei Yucheng wanted to take a few photos casually. She hadn't expected that Pei Yucheng would take photos like this. She stared at the huge bag of photos in a daze. "Let me pay." Pei Yucheng, who seemed to have noticed Lin Yan's pained expression, spoke up. Lin Yan gritted her teeth as she scanned the QR code. "No, I said that it's my treat. Besides, it doesn't matter who pays. My boyfriend's money makes my heart ache too." Pei Yucheng was startled when he heard the second half of Lin Yan's sentence. Then, his eyes turned gentle. "However, I really didn't expect you to like taking photos so much." Lin Yan's impression of Pei Yucheng had been toppled again and again today. Pei Yucheng's eyes darkened when he saw the surprised expression on the girl's face. "We've never taken a photo together, even the photo on the marriage certificate had been edited with software." We've never taken a photo together." Lin Yan didn't notice the strange look in Pei Yucheng's eyes, so she couldn't understand him. Even if they hadn't taken a photo together, there was no need to take so many photos at once. After they left the photo booth, Pei Yucheng picked up his phone and texted for a long time. Lin Yan didn't think much of it when Pei Yucheng whipped out his phone. After all, he was a busy man and it was rare for him to take time out for a date. What Lin Yan didn't know was that Pei Yucheng had uploaded the photo to a WeChat group. Pei Yutong, F***CK. "Big brother, didn't you return to the headquarters? You're back. When did you get back? You didn't even tell us when you came back, and you actually went on a date with sister-in-law? Also, are my eyes blind? Brother, what is that thing on your head? Your sister-in-law likes it." Pei Yutong replied, "No way. Big brother, you're spoiling her too much." Pei Yutong typed, "How dare you take pictures with big sister-in-law? You've never even taken a photo with me, your own brother. I want it too." Pei Nanshi replied, "Big brother, I know you don't like crowded places, but girls like to visit amusement parks. Big brother, you've been abroad for a long time. You should spend more time with big sister-in-law." Pei Yucheng replied, "I know." Pei Yutong was speechless. "Wait a minute. Why does this amusement park look so familiar?" After taking the photo, Lin Yan accompanied Pei Yucheng to visit the amusement park. There were merry-go-rounds, bumper cars, haunted houses. Meanwhile, Lin Yan and Pei Yucheng were riding on a roller coaster. End of this chapter. Chapter 1164. Due to the extreme speed, all the tourists screamed, and some even cried in fear. "Ah! Put me down. I don't want to sit anymore. Put me down. Mommy, save me." Two girls were sitting in front of Lin Yan. Their voices were loud and clear, and Lin Yan's eardrums were about to burst. The boy behind her was a burly man who was over 1.9 meters tall. His screams were even more exaggerated than the girls'. He was bawling like a pear blossom in the rain as he yelled for Lin Yan to be let down. Lin Yan, who was being attacked from all directions, looked dazed. She even yawned, feeling a little sleepy. If her disciples, teammates, enemies, and fans knew that the racetrack's Grim Reaper, Yave, had gone to an amusement park to ride a roller coaster, they would probably start doubting their own lives. Lin Yan was really bored. She glanced at Pei Yucheng and realized that he didn't seem to fit in with the group of people who were screaming and crying. The man didn't look like he was riding a roller coaster. Instead, he looked like he was taking a leisurely stroll. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. It seemed like Pei Yucheng had no gaming experience either. So, what exactly did they spend this money for? Lin Yan couldn't help but lean closer to Pei Yucheng. "Pei Yucheng, are you sure you like these things?" Pei Yucheng glanced at the girl beside him. His deep, forest-like eyes revealed a hint of a smile that rippled like a ripple. He replied unhurriedly, I'm not interested. Lin Yan was dumbfounded. She couldn't understand what Pei Yucheng was thinking. Huh? You're not interested? If you don't like these things, why do you want to play every single one of them? That's such a waste of money. Of course, I'm not saying that it's a waste of money. The point is, since you don't like it, there's no need for you to do these things. Pei Yucheng fell silent as he gazed at the girl. What I like isn't doing these things. I like doing them with you and wasting time with you. Lin Yan's heart skipped a beat when she heard him. The little deer in her heart was racing again. Pei Yucheng studied the girl's dazed expression. You don't think this is exciting enough? Lin Yan couldn't go against her conscience. She couldn't help but say, it's a little. For an experienced driver like her, this roller coaster was like driving a school bus to kindergarten. As soon as she said that, a shadow fell before her eyes. A second later, she felt something soft on her lips. His cool lips had kissed her without warning. Instinctively, Lin Yan gasped and tried to retreat. However, the kiss deepened in an instant. The man kissed her ferociously, as though he wanted to melt her into his bones. The roller coaster, which was originally extremely slow in her eyes, suddenly sped up thousands of times. After an unknown period of time, the speed of the roller coaster finally slowed down, slowly moving towards the end. Lin Yan was finally released when the car stopped. Pei Yucheng stretched out his hand and stroked the girl's red lips with his long fingers. What about now? Is it exciting? Lin Yan was speechless. This car wasn't going to the kindergarten. In her entire life, the fastest ride she had ever taken wasn't during the World League, but on this roller coaster. Chapter 1165. After they got off the roller coaster, the two of them entered a restaurant to take a break. Pei Yucheng ordered a cute cartoon ice cream and a drink. Lin Yan scanned the table and realized that there was only one ice cream and one drink. Did you only buy one each? Pei Yucheng replied, yeah, one is enough. Lin Yan felt a little embarrassed. I'm not that stingy. Why don't we buy one more? Before Lin Yan could finish her sentence, Pei Yucheng grabbed 2 straws and placed them in the drink. Then, he scooped up a spoonful of the drink and fed it to Lin Yan. Open your mouth. Lin Yan froze on the spot. She blinked and instinctively opened her mouth. Pei Yucheng's eyes twinkled as he fed her a mouthful. Is it delicious? Oh, it's delicious. Lin Yan covered her cheeks, which were filled with sweetness. She finally understood why he had ordered only one. At the same time, Lin Yan was struck by a sudden realization: going to the amusement park, going on an adventure in a haunted house, riding a roller coaster, sharing an ice cream, drinking a drink with 2 straws, wasn't this what she had written in her notebook when she was in a relationship with her boyfriend? When she had first gotten together with Pei Yucheng, she hadn't known how to be in a relationship at all. Hence, she had done a lot of research online and even made a lot of notes. Why did Pei Yucheng know so much? Alright, he must have seen it when he had possessed her, so Pei Yucheng had brought her to the amusement park to complete her wish list? At this thought, Lin Yan couldn't help but recall what Pei Yucheng had said. It's not because I like doing these things. It's because I like doing them with you. When she was at the age where she should be playing and having fun, her life had been focused on finding ways to earn money. She hadn't had the chance to experience the things that her peers liked. At one point, she had thought that she didn't like them and didn't need them. The feeling of being cherished and cherished by someone made her feel extremely satisfied and touched. It was as though the missing part of her life had been filled. Oh my God. Lin Yan sighed heavily as she held her forehead. Pei Yucheng raised his eyebrows. What's wrong? It's nothing. I'm just feeling a little emotional. What kind of dog shit luck do I have to find such a perfect boyfriend? Most importantly, I don't even need to pursue such a perfect boyfriend myself. Wasn't this a little too easy? It's so surreal. Lin Yan sighed. On second thought, she realized that she hadn't done anything to be with Pei Yucheng. Pei Yucheng had been chasing after himself, otherwise, with her own EQ, she wouldn't be able to catch up with him even after 8 lifetimes. Pei Yucheng's eyes were gleaming as he stroked the girl's hair. Miss Lin, it wasn't easy for me to woo you. If it wasn't for the fact that his consciousness had uncontrollably entered her body, if it wasn't for the chance to start over, perhaps he wouldn't have let himself get close to her in this lifetime. Lin Yan scratched her head. All right then. It wasn't easy for you to complete the task of 2 people. Chapter 1166. After they left the restaurant, Lin Yan and Pei Yucheng wanted to find a place to take more photos. However, before long, Lin Yan frowned, feeling as though she was being watched. Hold on. We're being followed. Lin Yan halted cautiously. It might be the paparazzi. Should we split up? Asked Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan shook her head. If it was the paparazzi, we would have been photographed. There's no point in splitting up now. Lin Yan pondered for a moment before she tugged at Pei Yucheng's hand. She glanced at a place with fewer people nearby. Let's go there. Soon, the 2 of them reached a secluded garden. Indeed, the footsteps were right behind them. When they turned a corner, Lin Yan spun around and chased after the figure. Lin Yan was so fast that it was too late for the other party to run. The other party was probably wearing a bear costume to disguise himself. It had been hard to spot him when he had blended into the crowd, but now that there was no one around, he was very conspicuous. However, Lin Yan hadn't expected that the fellow would be so fast despite his bulky costume. He seemed to be very familiar with the amusement park, so Lin Yan had left him in the dust. F***ck. Why is he running so fast? Lin Yan's head hurt as she stared at the fork in the road ahead. Once that fellow blended into the crowd, it would be difficult to find him. Pei Yucheng followed behind Lin Yan and closed his eyes. A few seconds later, he opened his eyes and said, "Left." Lin Yan turned to Pei Yucheng. How did you know? I captured some of his mental energy. Is it that powerful? Damn it. Why didn't I evolve such a powerful ability? This is so useful. Lin Yan ran in the direction that Pei Yucheng had pointed. Indeed, the 2 of them saw the bear. Lin Yan raised her leg and kicked the bears, but when she saw that it was about to run off in a different direction. Roar, the bear howled and fell to the ground. Lin Yan immediately stepped on the bear's waist and yelled, "Run! I told you to run. Hurry up and hand over the film." Ow! Woo woo woo. The big teddy bear spoke as it howled, but because it was wearing Roar's mask, it was impossible to hear it clearly. Lin Yan stepped on him and was about to continue threatening him when she saw the huge teddy bear holding its head. A second later, it plucked its head off. Lin Yan saw Pei Yucheng's head poking out of the costume. Roar. Sister-in-law. It's me. It's me. Feet. Release your legs. Sister-in-law, my waist is going to break. Pei Yucheng wailed like a ghost. Damn. Pei Yucheng. Why are you here? Lin Yan, who hadn't expected that the person following them would be Pei Yucheng, was stunned. She hurriedly let go of him and helped him up. What are you doing here dressed like this? I'm working part-time here. Pei Yucheng scowled miserably as he rubbed his buttocks with his plump paws. Lin Yan scrutinized him from head to toe. Are you working part-time here? Yeah. Can't I? How much money do you need? Lin Yan was speechless. Pei Yutong glanced at Pei Yucheng with an aggrieved expression. The team is going to compete soon, and the expenses are too high. I promised my brother that I would earn my own money if I wanted to race. I have an important competition next week, so I have to replace the parts of my car. End of this chapter. Chapter 1167. Lin Yan quipped, "Then why are you following us? I'm doing a part-time job and I want to gossip. I saw my brother's photo in the group chat and realized that you guys were at the amusement park where I worked. I was curious to see how you guys were going on a date." Lin Yan was speechless. What's so interesting about a date? Haven't you seen enough of this part-time job? Pei Yutong snuck a peek at his brother as he said, "Others have seen it many times, but this is the first time I've seen my big brother." Pei Yutong blurted out excitedly, "Sister-in-law, I really didn't expect you to like this kind of thing. You even went on roller coasters. Roller coasters are just like children's toys to you. It's not exciting at all." Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng unconsciously and coughed softly. She rubbed her nose and said, "No, no. It's quite exciting." "Exciting? No way. Sister Yan, touch your conscience and say that again. How is it exciting?" Pei Yutong looked perplexed. "If I say it's exciting, then it's exciting. Shut up. Oh yeah, you're here at the right time. Since you like watching your brother on a date so much, you should watch as much as you want. Come over and take a photo of me and your brother." Lin Yan demanded of Pei Yutong. Pei Yutong shook his head vigorously. "I can't do that. I still have to work." He had eaten enough dog food along the way. Lin Yan asked, "Here's the money. Is 10 yuan enough?" Pei Yutong replied, 10 yuan is too little. Are you trying to bribe me? Big sister-in-law, at least give me more." Lin Yan asked, "How much do you want?" Pei Yutong raised 5 fingers. "You have to pay at least 50 cents more." Lin Yan hesitated for a long time before replying, "All right. Deal. Your costume looks pretty good too. Later, you can be our backdrop and we can shoot together." Pei Yutong tried to bargain. "Sure, but you have to pay more. 50 cents more. You want an extra 50 cents? Don't trick me. It's your job to take photos with the tourists. I've already paid for the ticket. You don't have to pay more," Lin Yan said righteously. Pei Yutong fell silent for some time before he blurted, "Sister-in-law." Lin Yan asked, "What?" Pei Yutong's expression was complicated. "Do you have some misunderstanding about my brother?" Lin Yan rolled her eyes at him. "Why would I misunderstand your brother?" Pei Yutong replied, "Do you know who is the richest person in the country right now? Do you know how many assets my brother has under his name? Sister-in-law, you really don't have to be so stingy. Really. The girlfriend of JM Group's boss is bargaining with a temporary worker for 50 cents at an amusement park. If the media finds out, they'll think my brother is broke." Lin Yan blurted out, "What has that got to do with me? You're the younger brother of JM Corporation's boss. You're still working at the amusement park. Besides, your brother's money isn't mine." Pei Yucheng chimed in unhurriedly, "It's also your money. It's also your money." The moment he spoke, Lin Yan felt as though she had been smashed by a mountain of gold. She almost fainted. "Big boss. Don't say such scary things. P.S. I've finally written the story on the cover." That's right. The bear on the cover is Pei Yutong. End of this chapter. Chapter 1168. After a round of haggling, Lin Yan finally settled the deal at 11 yuan. She had successfully completed the photo shoot. After the photo was taken, Pei Yutong sent it to the three of them in the group chat to show off to Pei Nanxiu. Pei Yutong typed, second brother, come out and take a look. I told you that I didn't choose the wrong person. The two people I saw at the amusement park were indeed my big brother and big sister-in-law. It's a pity that you weren't around. Come and take a look at our family photo. I finally have a photo with big brother. After about half a minute, Pei Nanxiu replied. Pei Nanxiu typed, family photo? Isn't this a photo of big brother and big sister-in-law? Did you send the wrong photo? Pei Yutong typed, open your eyes and take a good look. It's a family photo. Pei Nanxiu typed, sorry, I think I saw it clearly. There are only two people in the photo unless you're invisible. Pei Yutong circled the bear in the middle of the photo and sent it to the group chat. Pei Yutong typed, can't you see that I'm so big? Second brother, do you have bad eyesight? Pei Nanxiu stared at the bear in the background of the photo and was speechless. Pei Yutong was still bragging when Lin Yan asked casually, oh yeah, you mentioned that you were competing next week. How are your results? Pei Yutong felt a little guilty. I'm in the 50th place, the corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Why don't you just say that I'm last? The little prince at the bottom was indeed worthy of his reputation. She shouldn't have asked this question. She had chosen racing because she wanted to earn money, while Pei Yutong wanted to burn money. Pei Yutong's relationship with racing was just like the saying, you and I aren't meant to be. It's all because of my money. Third young master, I think you need to reevaluate yourself. Have you considered changing your career? Lin Yan couldn't help but feel sorry for him. Pei Yutong shook his head immediately. No way. My biggest wish in life is to enter the first level of the international competition. I want my brother to watch me ride the waves on TV. Lin Yan was exasperated. Young man, the sky isn't dark yet. Wake up. Besides, I don't think your brother wants to watch it. Pei Yutong burst into tears. My brother only wants to see you. It's good that you know. Instead of wasting your money, why don't you use it to sponsor me? I can help you fulfill your wish. Anyway, we're family. If I make it to the first level of the international competition, wouldn't that mean that you've made it to the first level as well? Lin Yan persuaded him patiently. Pei Yutong scratched his head. I think what you said makes sense. However, something seems wrong. Lin Yan asked, what's wrong? Aren't we family? Pei Yutong replied, we are family. However, even though your racing skills are better than mine, this is the first level of the international competition. You can't enter just because you want to. Sister-in-law, you're just trying to trick me. Lin Yan patted her chest. Not only will I enter, but I will also win the championship. If you sponsor our team now, it will definitely be a profitable business. Pei Yutong replied, sister-in-law, your boyfriend has a net worth of hundreds of billions. How could he cheat me of my money? Isn't that inappropriate? Lin Yan quipped, your brother has a net worth of hundreds of billions as well. Why can't you part with this bit of money? Pei Yutong quipped, your boyfriend has a net worth of hundreds of billions. Why don't you ask him to sponsor you? As the two of them were arguing, Pei Yutong interrupted them. Because she doesn't need it. My money is your sister-in-law's money. Pei Yutong was speechless, ahem. Lin Yan turned to glance at her boyfriend and said solemnly, Pei Yutong, I have to clarify something. Although I love money, I'm not with you because I'm greedy for your money, Pei Yutong replied, I know. Don't be greedy. I'm helping you earn it. Lin Yan was speechless. At that moment, Lin Yan's mind was filled with two words, I want to marry him. Who? Who could stand this? Pei Yutong burped. End of the chapter. Chapter 1169. At the headquarters of the Pei family, several senior executives had convened an emergency meeting. There were two main points of discussion. It was about two lawless young masters. One was the Big Devil, while the other was the Little Devil. The Big Devil had been kidnapped by an evolved human organization a few years ago. Although the Pei family had launched a series of counterattacks and successfully rescued the Big Devil refused to return to the Pei family's headquarters. He had even fallen out with Pei Yucheng and his son and injured Pei Yucheng with his unimaginable evolutionary power. Now, the Big Devil was a taboo that couldn't be mentioned in the Pei family's headquarters. The Little Devil is back today. An old man in the conference room spoke solemnly. He should be back today indeed. Yucheng has just contacted him and told him to stay in the family and not run around. The senior executives of the Pei family had a headache at the mention of the Little Devil. The Little Devil hated his brother to the core. He hated him for hurting his father, Pei Yucheng, and he hated him for betraying the Pei family. Over the years, the Pei family had investigated and made a preliminary judgment of the Big Devil's whereabouts. However, they hadn't dared mention it to the Little Devil. Immortal and indestructible. Are you sure it's the Big Devil's organization? After a long time, a certain old man frowned deeply, and a trace of worry appeared in his eyes. Most likely. The Immortal and Indestructible was an evolved human organization that had been very famous in the past 2 years. Although there weren't many members, every member had an almost heaven-defying evolved human power, especially the leader of the Immortal and Indestructible. He was even more mysterious. The Pei family and the Immortal and Indestructible had some feuds. Half a year ago, the Immortal and Indestructible had destroyed the Pei family's branches in various countries, causing the Pei family to suffer heavy losses. If the recent investigations are correct, the leader of the Immortal and Indestructible should be the Big Devil. Immortal and Indestructible? The old man from the Pei family was deep in thought. They hadn't forgotten the Big Devil's abilities. The real Immortal and Indestructible could be reborn in the shortest time even if his head was chopped off. It was even more exaggerated than a phoenix's nirvana. Back then, Pei Yucheng had been very afraid of the Big Devil's evolutionary power, so he had been very strict with him. However, this was a different feeling for the Big Devil. In the eyes of the Devil, Pei Yucheng would always favor Little Devil. He had never felt any fatherly love. Back then, a certain evolved human organization had tried to rob the Big and Little Devils. Pei Yucheng had saved the Little Devil immediately and ignored the Big Devil, which had led to the Big Devil being kidnapped. After that, the Great Devil's abilities were completely awakened, and he had become a truly lawless Great Devil. Outside the gates of the Pei family, the boy was wearing a black coat and a pair of sneakers. He had a harmless smile on his face, but there was a hint of maturity in his eyes that did not match his age. Pei Qian. Little Devil. Seeing the boy come to the Pei clan alone, the expressions of several Pei clan clansmen changed slightly. Hadn't Pei Yucheng sent this Little Devil to Nightless City to further his studies 2 months ago? Why did he come back? Hello, Uncle Pei Yuan, Uncle Pei Hua. After the little boy entered the Pei group, he saw the 2 middle-aged men in front of him and greeted them with a smile. Hearing this, the 2 of them quickly turned around and pretended not to hear anything. This Little Devil looked harmless and cute, but he was considered half a taboo in the Pei family. Evolved beings were ridiculously powerful, and they were more cunning than anyone else. Although he was still a child, his wisdom had already far surpassed that of some adults. End of this chapter. Chapter 1170. As for Pei Qian, the people of the Pei family didn't want to have too much to do with him. Be it Pei Qian or his brother, the Great Devil, they were all afraid of him. This was especially true for the Great Devil. After his ability was completely awakened, the ferocity and cruelty that he displayed was something that ordinary people could never compare to. Pei Yucheng had been severely injured by his eldest son. Although his youngest son Pei Qian's evolved strength was slightly weaker than his eldest son's, who could be sure that Pei Qian, who shared the same mother as his eldest son, would one day grow into a demon? In the Pei family, most people would avoid Pei Qian if they could. Huh, Pei Qian, weren't you studying in Nightless City? Why are you back? One of the middle-aged men had no choice but to turn around and smile at Pei Qian. Pei Qian looked at the middle-aged man beside him with his big eyes and a childish smile on his face. Uncle Pei Hua, do you have any news of my brother? Pei Hua was a member of the Pei family's intelligence network. Pei Hua and the others were in charge of investigating the devil's whereabouts. Hearing Pei Qian's words, Pei Hua shook his head repeatedly and said, "No, my little ancestor, if I had news of the great demon. If I had news of your brother, how could I not tell you? I understand the deep bond between you and your brother." As Pei Hua finished speaking, the smile on Pei Qian's face deepened. He said in a childish voice, Uncle Pei Hua, your investigative skills are so strong. You must have news of my brother. My brother hates the Pei clan so much, and he hates father so much. Tell me, and I'll go kill him. How good would that be?" Pei Yuan, who was at the side, looked at the harmless-looking Pei Qian. How old was Pei Qian? Yet, he could already say such words. That was his own brother, but he could say that he wanted to kill his own brother with a smile on his face. His expression was so calm that it made people's hearts go cold. This was why the Pei family feared the two brothers from the bottom of their hearts. He seemed to have no emotions, but at such a young age, he was more scheming and shrewd than any adult. The devil had injured his father, Pei Yucheng, and the little devil wanted to kill his own brother. No one would believe that these two brothers were not biological brothers. Uncle Pei Hua, why are you looking at me like that? I am a member of the Pei clan, so naturally, I have to do my part for the Pei clan. Aren't you all afraid of my brother? If I get rid of him, you will have nothing to worry about. Pei Qian smiled. Pei Hua frowned slightly and looked at Pei Qian in surprise. You already know? Pei Qian smiled and nodded. That's right, immortal and indestructible, Pei Hua immediately sighed. As expected, nothing could be hidden from Pei Qian. The Undying Indestructible Evolver organization had recently launched an extremely strong attack on the Pei clan's branches in the various countries, causing the Pei clan to suffer heavy losses and even damaging their vitality. He had asked Pei Yucheng to come back to deal with this matter. The headquarters had already made up their minds to put out a bounty on all the members of the Undying Indestructible Guild, dead or alive. Pei Qian, don't mention this again. No matter what, he is your brother. Even if he does anything, it's the elder's business. It has nothing to do with you. Pei Yuan glared at Pei Qian and warned him sternly. Pei Yuan and Pei Yucheng had a good relationship. Even though he was a little afraid of Pei Yucheng's two sons, he couldn't let them fight each other. Besides, if he told Pei Qian the whereabouts of the devil, he would be courting death if he really went to look for him. Chapter 1171. Alright, I'm just teasing you guys. How would I dare to look for my immortal brother? He even dared to hurt my father. If I go, I'll be like a sheep walking into a tiger's mouth. Pei Qian laughed. Pei Qian, it's good that you know. During this period of time, stay in the clan and don't leave without permission. This is your father's wish. We'll talk about it when your father returns, Pei Yuan said. Oh, I understand. Pei Qian nodded and walked past the two of them, heading towards the clan. Country F, the largest branch established by the Pei clan in this country. In the middle of the night, this branch had already ignited with raging flames. It was like a divine punishment descending from the sky, and nothing could extinguish it. Outside the branch, the young boy looked at the burning branch of the Pei clan without any human emotions in his eyes. "Ah, Boss Pei Li, my performance is over." In an instant, a ball of flames fell from the sky and smashed heavily onto the ground beside Pei Li. Pei Li stared at the giant flaming man in front of him and nodded slightly. In the next second, the purple flames on the flaming man faded and turned into a handsome youth. "You've worked hard," the boy said softly as he looked at the youth in front of him. "Worked hard?" The youth laughed out loud. "Pei Li, it's a little sudden for you to say that. Besides, if you hadn't destroyed the laboratory and rescued us back then, we would still be being researched in the laboratory and used to create the so-called perfect body's mother." At the mention of the laboratory, Pei Li's eyes flashed for an instant before turning into a hint of hostility. However, he quickly returned to normal. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked out and stood in front of the Pei clan's branch. With a light wave of his hand, a terrifying force covered the sky. Half of the Pei clan's branch was immediately destroyed. "Master." The middle-aged man returned to Pei Li's side and said respectfully with his head lowered, "Mission completed." "Yes," Pei Li said. "Pei Li. How spectacular." Immediately, a young girl in a pure white dress jumped down from the top of a nearby bell tower. Her entire body seemed to be weightless as she floated in front of Pei Li, an eyesore. Pei Li frowned as he looked at the young girl floating beside him like a ghost. No, I'm so good-looking and cute. I should be pleasing to the eyes." "Humph, idiot. You should be just like your name. Hurry up and apologize to me." The girl stared at Pei Li, seemingly dissatisfied with his words. "Master, the Pei family's branch is your father's. Isn't this a little?" Without giving the girl a chance to speak, the middle-aged man on the side asked softly. As the middle-aged man's voice fell, he said apologetically, "I only have a mother, no father." Hearing this, the middle-aged man did not continue to speak. They were also aware of this matter. Back then, Pei Li and his younger brother were both captured by the evolvers in the laboratory. Pei Li's father immediately went to his younger brother's side, causing Pei Li to be captured and experience a rather dark time in the laboratory. These people were also the strongest mothers in the laboratory back then. Their genes were used to create perfect experimental bodies. In the end, Pei Li's ability was completely awakened. In a few breaths of time, he destroyed the laboratory and rescued all the strongest brood mothers. After that, they became members of the unkillable indestructible. And the leader of the undying indestructible army was Pei Li. Pei Li's hatred for his father had reached its peak. Of course, Rome wasn't built in a day. Perhaps this was just a fuse. "Mother?" The girl's eyes widened, full of curiosity. "I've never heard you mention your mother." End of this chapter. Chapter 1172. The girl was very curious about Pei Li's mother. She had known Pei Li for a long time, but she had never heard him mention his mother. At this moment, Pei Li was looking at the young girl with a complicated look in his eyes. Only now did Pei Li realize that his memories of his mother were extremely blurry. In fact, Pei Li had gradually forgotten his mother's appearance. In Pei Li's mind, the scene of him hiding in his mother's embrace would occasionally appear. At that time, her mother would buy her a lot of extremely childish toys and children's fairy tales for her. Pei Li also remembered that he would often sit in the front passenger seat. Although his mother was good at driving, she would always be extra careful and slow down whenever he was in the car. Soon, all his memories of his mother were shattered. Pei Li still couldn't get over that tragic car accident. Pei Yucheng was the one who had killed his mother. He had killed the woman who had treated him as a treasure. My mother has passed away, Pei Li said expressionlessly after a long time. However, this young child in front of him was surprisingly mature. Ah. You don't recognize your father, and your mother is gone. Don't you have no family? The girl asked. Hearing this, Pei Li smiled. Every single one of you is my family. How could I not have any family? He didn't know if this was a way to win people's hearts, but it sounded extremely sincere when this young boy said it. Before the girl could continue, a series of angry shouts came from the Pei family's branch. A second later, dozens of evolved beings from the Pei family flew into the air. Some of the evolved beings with their bodies rushed out of the Pei family's branch, which had almost been completely destroyed. Who dares to attack a branch of the Pei clan? A black-robed middle-aged man yelled in a stern voice in the air above. The Pei family's reputation was resounding. The branch had been in Country F for many years and had always been the leader of the evolved beings. No evolved being had ever dared to challenge their authority. However, the Pei family had been ambushed tonight. Guts? Pei Li stood with his hands behind his back as he stared at the middle-aged man. How dare you pluck the stars with one hand and trample on the underworld with one foot? The Pei family's branch isn't worth mentioning, Pei Li replied calmly. Who are you people? The middle-aged man, who was the leader of the branch, shouted. Undying and indestructible. Indestructible? Immediately, the middle-aged man's expression changed. The Undying Indestructible organization was an organization of evolvers that had gained a lot of fame in recent times. It seemed to have a huge conflict with the Pei clan. A few branches of the Pei clan had been completely destroyed by the Undying Indestructible organization. You look familiar. When he saw Pei Li's face, the middle-aged man leading the Pei clan's branch frowned and said. He seemed to have seen this child somewhere before. You, a moment later, the man's eyes were filled with shock. Devil. You're Pei Yucheng's son. There was no expression on Pei Li's face. He didn't even look disgusted at the mention of Pei Yucheng. He merely replied calmly, whatever you think. Pei Li, I'm your father's subordinate. This is a branch established by your father. What do you want? The man said. Destroyed. Destroying one of F Nation's most powerful evolvers was as normal as talking about dinner in Pei Li's mouth. End of chapter. Chapter 1173. The man couldn't help but laugh as he stared at the child. I really didn't expect Master Yu's son to be so capable. The Undying organization is actually your evolved organization. However, Pei Li, you're just a child. You can't be my match. Besides, the headquarters has issued a wanted order for you. I advise you to go back to the headquarters to be punished. You might have a chance to live. Pei Li nodded and said, then I have to thank you for your concern and reminder. Pei Li, it's no wonder that Master Yu regarded you as a taboo and was so afraid of you. It seems like Master Yu's worries weren't unfounded. On account that you're Master Yu's son, I'll spare your life. Leave now. I don't think your loyalty is necessary. The flaming young man chuckled. Are you guys too ill-informed? Why do you want to spare our lives? You're really arrogant. Don't refuse a toast only to drink a forfeit. I think Master Yu. Before the man could finish, Pei Li interrupted him. You don't have to do it in front of Pei Yucheng. Just do it. Master Yu, the headquarters has issued a wanted order. It doesn't matter if he's dead or alive. Capture him and hand him over to the headquarters. It will be a great merit. However, if the headquarters finds out that we let him go, I'm afraid. An evolved being frowned. The man pondered this for a moment before he glanced at Pei Li. Pei Li, Master Yu has suffered enough at the headquarters because of you. He's your father, yet you're so rebellious. Forget it. I'll clean up the mess for Master Yu today. Alright, Pei Li replied expressionlessly. You don't have to do anything. Pei Li glanced at the eager people behind him. Master, these small fries aren't worthy of your attention, the middle-aged man beside Pei Li said. It's okay, Pei Li replied. The others didn't insist after hearing Pei Li's words. Do it. The man gave the order, and the dozens of evolved beings with brains who were floating in the air moved at the same time. The evolved power that emerged from the bodies of the evolved beings turned into an ocean and gathered in one place. In an instant, dark clouds filled the sky, and lightning snakes surged in the clouds. In the dark night, the terrifying aura of evolved beings gathered, as though they had condensed into an ancient beast. Its huge body covered the sky and covered the moon. Execute. More than 10 evolved brains spoke at the same time. In the next second, they controlled the mountain-like beasts to suppress Pei Li. What a spectacular sight. The Pei clan's branch here is even stronger than the previous one, the girl murmured. After all, he is the #1 evolver in F country. The young man who had turned into a burning man said. At this moment, Pei Li stood on the spot and didn't move at all when facing such a terrifying pressure. He seemed as if he'd wantonly resisted it, yet he seemed as if he didn't care at all. Just as the beast completely suppressed Pei Li's eyes opened slightly. The next second, it was as if a miracle had descended. A huge eye blocked the moon, devouring all the light. It was as if the human world had turned into a dark purgatory. Under everyone's incredulous gazes, Pei Li's left eye completely enveloped the beast before absorbing it into his left eye. Impossible. Seeing this, the dozen or so evolved brains floating in the air were filled with shock. The divine might of a dozen highly intelligent evolvers was actually subdued by this child. The divine might of the evolved brain is useless against me. Perhaps you can try other methods. Pei Li said. End of chapter. Chapter 1174. Are you saying that you're immune to the evolved brain? The leader of the group asked in surprise. He had never heard of or seen such a strange thing. You can interpret it that way, Pei Li replied. Since you're immune to the evolved brain, then, the leader turned to look at the dozens of evolved humans. In an instant, Pei Li was completely surrounded. Dozens of evolvers with extremely high levels attacked Pei Li at the same time. Every move was fatal. Whoever took down Pei Li would be able to rise to the top in the Pei family's headquarters. No one would hold back, even if he was just a child. However, Pei Li's body was like a quagmire. No matter how powerful they were, it was like a drop of water falling into a desert. It had no effect on Pei Li. The specially made swords and knives only caused sparks to fly when they struck Pei Li's body. That's impossible. The leader of the group was dumbfounded. Immune to the power of the brain? Immune to the evolved body? It was impossible for such a person to exist. You can't even break my basic defense. How can you even talk about fighting me? Are you kidding me? Pei Li stood in the crowd as he watched the dozens of people attack him. Get lost. Immediately after, Pei Li shouted, and a divine force that seemed to have come from ancient times exploded. With Pei Li in the center, the ground beneath his feet crumbled. Cracks spread out in all directions like thousands of pythons. A wave of air that could be seen with the naked eye immediately exploded, sending the dozens of evolvers of the Pei clan's branch flying everywhere. Some of the evolved humans were affected by the shockwave. As soon as they landed on the ground, they fainted on the spot. The leader of the group was drenched in cold sweat. The devil of the Pei family's headquarters was a monster through and through. It was no wonder that even the headquarters was afraid of him. However, they hadn't chased him out of the Pei family. Instead, they had chosen to keep him. Now, the leader finally understood that this devil might have been the Pei family's most terrifying trump card. He had been a humanoid weapon used to destroy their enemies. No one would have thought that this humanoid weapon had finally broken free. The leader of the group was horrified. Master Yu is muddle-headed. This monster should have been destroyed when he was born. Pei Li stood where he was, not moving a single step from the very beginning. He looked at the man. I'll spare you today. Huh, is that all? The girl looked at Pei Li strangely. This wasn't Pei Li's character. He actually spared these people? Go back and tell Pei Yucheng that I will look for him. When we meet, he will pay the price he deserves. At the same time, tell my stupid brother not to think about taking revenge on me. I don't care about his life. Pei Li walked over to the man and grabbed his chin. Look at me. The man raised his head with difficulty and looked at Pei Li. Pei Li's eyes were as dazzling as the galaxy. Remember what I said? Pei Li asked. Yes. I remember. The man's forehead was covered in cold sweat. The child's gaze was like a mountain pressing down on him, making it difficult for him to even breathe. Very well, I believe that you are a loyal dog. You will definitely pass on my words, right? The corners of Pei Li's mouth curled up slightly, and there was a thought-provoking smile on his face. The man was about to say something when he realized that Pei Li and the others had disappeared. It was as though they had never been there. Everything seemed like a dream. Chapter 1175. The next morning, Lin Yan had an interview that day, so she woke up early. After washing up, she was about to do her skincare routine when she saw Pei Yucheng walking out of his room. Pei Yucheng halted when he saw that Lin Yan's door was open. Good morning. The two kittens circled Pei Yucheng enthusiastically, probably because they hadn't seen each other in a long time. You're awake. Didn't you have a day off today? Why are you up so early? Did I wake you up? Asked Lin Yan. No, I slept well. Lin Yan frowned. But you don't look too well. You must have stayed up late again. Did you go for a checkup this month? What did the doctor say? Although she had asked Cheng Mo to update her on his work schedule while Pei Yucheng was at the headquarters, he was far away and the situation at the headquarters was complicated. She was afraid that Pei Yucheng wouldn't be able to rest well. She couldn't be at ease with his condition. I've checked. He's fine, replied Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan studied Pei Yucheng's face intently for some time before she waved at him. Lower your head. Pei Yucheng was taken aback. Then, he bent over obediently. Lin Yan took out a red and black bottle from the drawer and pressed it against her palm. Then, she gently applied it on Pei Yucheng's face. This is Nature Hall's Dragon Blood Energy Lotion. I bought one for you. It's for men. Pei Yucheng hadn't expected that she would ask him to lower his head just to apply the lotion on his face. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This is a combination of toner, lotion, and essence. You only need this bottle to fix everything. It's very convenient. Lin Yan studied the dark circles under Pei Yucheng's eyes and asked worriedly, did something happen at home? Pei Yucheng seemed exhausted every time he came back from the headquarters. Although he didn't seem to be acting strangely, Lin Yan had a feeling that something was bothering him. Pei Yucheng seemed to be in a daze when he heard her. Something did happen, but it has been resolved. Don't worry. Oh, that's good. Lin Yan didn't press on since Pei Yucheng didn't want to elaborate. Do you have work today? Pei Yucheng glanced at the bottles beside Lin Yan. Yeah, there's an interview today, but it will be over soon. She would only put on makeup and a full set of skincare products when she had to attend an event. Usually, she would just put on some lotion before heading out. Lin Yan's head throbbed as she read the interview outline. It's just that the interview questions are a little complicated. Pei Yucheng asked, "What happened?" Lin Yan muttered, "Look at these questions. When do you want to get married? How many children do you want? Do you like boys or girls? Would any fans be interested in such boring questions?" Pei Yucheng's eyes glinted with a smile. "Yes, I'm very interested. Miss Lin, when do you want to get married?" Ahem. Lin Yan coughed dryly. "I think we should just let nature take its course. Then. How many children do you want?" Pei Yucheng pressed on. Lin Yan pondered it for a moment. "One should be enough, right? It's too noisy if there are too many." Pei Yucheng asked, "What if it's too much? Can I have one more?" Huh. Lin Yan thought that Pei Yucheng's question was strange, but she didn't dwell on it. She hesitated and replied, "One more is fine." Pei Yucheng studied the girl and asked, "Do you like boys or girls?" Lin Yan answered without hesitation, "I prefer girls. If it's possible, I would like to give birth to an adorable princess." Pei Yucheng's expression seemed conflicted. After some time, he said helplessly, "In that case, I'm afraid we have to work harder." Lin Yan blinked. "Huh? Mr. Pei, what did you say?" Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. "Nothing. I'm saying that if you like girls, we can work hard in the future." Lin Yan was speechless. P.S. Nature Hall Men's Dragon Blood Energy Lotion, Himalayan Dragon Blood Energy Awakening Essence, Dragon Blood Energy Awakening Technology, promotes ATP synthesis, melts water, and repels fatigue. It's suitable for those who stay up late and work overtime. Fairies who have a boyfriend can buy it. ******. End of this chapter. Nanshu's gown was dirted at the event, so he took a new one from me. "It should be this one," explained Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan sighed. "No wonder. This is too much of a coincidence." End of this chapter. Chapter 1177. However, Lin Yan heaved a sigh of relief. Although the fans had misunderstood Pei Nanshu, at least Pei Yucheng hadn't been exposed. That was a blessing in disguise. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have asked you to accompany me to that place," said Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan's heart softened when she heard him. "I should be the one apologizing. You were just trying to accommodate me. Why did you have to be so nervous when we went to the amusement park?" "Fortunately, the photo wasn't taken. I'll go to the company now and discuss it with Sister Ling." "Is there anything you need me to do?" asked Pei Yucheng. Lin Yan glanced at Pei Yucheng. "There is. Just don't be angry. Do you want to hear the truth?" Pei Yucheng chuckled softly. Lin Yan nodded. "Of course. To be honest, I was really angry when I saw your name next to another man's." Pei Yucheng's eyes darkened as he spoke slowly. Lin Yan coughed and hurriedly explained, "This was an accident. I'll make it clear that the man in the photo isn't Mr. Pei." If Pei Yucheng were to step forward in a fit of anger, or if he were to possess her body and declare his ownership, she wouldn't dare to imagine the scene. His fans would scatter his ashes and scatter his ashes. Pei Yucheng studied the girl's nervous expression and said, "I will try my best to control myself." The moment he finished speaking, a sound that had not been heard for a long time rang out. D. Lin Yan stared at the silver watch on Pei Yucheng's wrist in horror. Her hair stood on end. The two kittens, who had been glued to Pei Yucheng, shuddered and hid themselves. Lin Yen was speechless. Didn't he say that he would control himself? Pei Yucheng studied the silver watch on his wrist and raised an eyebrow. Sorry, I overestimated my self-control. Lin Yen felt like crying. The alarm in the room was getting louder and louder. Pei Yucheng's voice was so calm that Lin Yan's hair stood on end. She knew very well that there was a terrifying storm hidden beneath his gentle and refined exterior. Lin Yan had heard from Xing Chen and the others about the function of the watch. The louder the alarm, the more dangerous Pei Yucheng's condition was, and the more his body could take it. Beep 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 beep. Lin Yan didn't have time to think as she listened to the alarm and heard his oppressive aura. Instinctively, she lunged at him and buried her head in his arms. Hubby. Pei Yucheng was speechless. The increasingly urgent beeping sound disappeared almost instantly. The room fell into a dead silence. Lin Yan didn't even pause to catch her breath. You can't believe a single word of gossip. Even if your name appears together, so what? You're my boyfriend. You're not someone else. Pei Yucheng narrowed his eyes and the haze in his eyes disappeared. His voice was hoarse as he said, What? What did you just say? Lin Yan snapped, You're my boyfriend. You're not anyone else. Pei Yucheng replied, That's not it. Lin Yan quipped, Are all the gossip and entertainment news nonsense? Pei Yucheng replied, The previous sentence. Lin Yan muttered, Hubby. Pei Yucheng replied, I won't be angry if you say it again. Lin Yan blinked, as though she couldn't believe that Pei Yucheng would calm down so easily. Hubby, if there was anything that couldn't be solved by calling him hubby, just say it twice. End of this chapter. Chapter 1178. After comforting Pei Yucheng, Lin Yan headed to Summit Entertainment. When she arrived, she saw a group of people crowding around the entrance. They were all Pei Nanxiu's fans. They were holding banners and cursing angrily. There was a pile of rotten vegetables and rotten eggs at the entrance. It was an unbearable sight. How dare she rub shoulders with our Mr. Pei? What a romantic relationship. She isn't even fit to carry his shoes. I have changed my opinion of her because of her charity work. Who would have thought that she would expose her true colors so soon? Indeed, a dog can't change its spots. Would it kill her to not stir up scandals? I don't care if she stirs up scandals or not. How dare she stir up scandals with my brother? Does she think we are pushovers? Lin Yan, get out of the entertainment industry. Get out of the entertainment industry. Lin Yan expended a lot of effort to find a side door and sneak into the office. Sorry, Sister Ling. I've caused you trouble. Zhao Hongling stared at the computer screen on her desk as her phone kept ringing. Duo was busy answering calls as well. Zhao Hongling glanced at Lin Yan solemnly. Lin Yan, this has caused a huge commotion. There have been rumors about you and Pei Nanxiu, but there hasn't been any concrete evidence. Hence, there hasn't been much of a commotion. However, photos have been taken this time. Pei Nanxiu's fans are very agitated. Some of them are even pressuring the higher-ups of Summit Entertainment to terminate your contract. I need you to tell me the truth. Otherwise, I won't be able to help you. Are you and Pei Nanxiu in a relationship? Lin Yan scanned the comments. Zhao Hongling wasn't exaggerating at all. There was a storm of criticism. Pei Nanxiu's fans had attacked her personal Weibo account, her manager's Weibo account, her company's official Weibo account, and even the official Weibo accounts of the brand she had endorsed. The fighting power of Mr. Pei's fans was indeed well-deserved. No. Absolutely not. Lin Yan sighed heavily and sounded certain. No. Zhao Hongling didn't seem to believe him. In the past, she might have believed it. However, based on the photos, anyone with a discerning eye could tell that the two of them were a couple. That was why Pei Nanxiu's fans were so furious. I'm in love, but I'm not with Mr. Pei. The clothes he's wearing. It's a misunderstanding. Anyway, he's not in the photo. I can believe you, but I'm afraid the fans won't buy it. It's not just his clothes. His side profile is very similar to Mr. Pei's, Zhao Hongling said. The corners of Lin Yan's mouth twitched. Pei Nanxiu and Pei Yucheng were biological brothers. How could they not look alike? At this moment, someone knocked on the office door. Please come in. The door was pushed open and Pei Nanxiu walked in. Zhao Hongling and Duo were shocked to see that Pei Nanxiu had come personally. Zhao Hongling stood up immediately. Mr. Pei, Duo hurriedly poured some water for him. Mr. Pei, why did you come here personally? Please take a seat. I'm sorry. The fans are a little agitated. I'm sorry to have caused you trouble, Pei Nanxiu said politely. Zhao Hongling was flattered. You're exaggerating. This incident was an accident. Besides, you're also a victim. End of chapter. You're tuning into the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.